Okay, we are into the finals of the League of Legends Rising Stars Series Season 2 tournament. And this is going to be the final between Frontlines and Lead by Example. Lead by Example, we just saw make it out of the losers bracket with some really strong games coming out of them. My name is Crusader Kitten, and I'm joined by Hallucinogen, and we will be your casters for today.
I'm very excited to see this finals. I've casted 2 matches so far today. One included Frontlines and one included Lead by Example. Both were excellent matches to watch. So I'm looking very much forward to this. We're seeing a Diana and Sejuani ban. Both of those are very targeted bans at Lead by Example. It's actually very interesting coming into today. Frontlines had every game banned Thresh and Blitzcrank, banned or picked. Every game without fail. This is the first time that we're seeing them go away from those two, so it might be interesting to see if they first pick out the Blitzcrank, because they seem to be afraid of it. So we're seeing Kha'Zix, Lux, and Vayne bans now coming down from Lead by Example.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm sure you would know. Are they targeted? The Lux and Vayne?
Well, the Kha'Zix, Lux, and Vayne, the Lux is definitely targeted. Herf Jones plays a very potent Lux. He played Kha'Zix, I believe, in a game earlier today and was fairly successful with it, so that's likely targeted. And the Vayne bans we have seen coming down on Sinro a lot, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. We have seen it banned against him yesterday. Well, actually, no, we didn't see it banned against him yesterday, but we did see it picked 3 times, so we are seeing the Nautilus pick coming out for Frontlines.
Yeah, we're not gonna see that on Thor anymore. Like, Thor was such a great Nautilus we saw from his matches between Lead by Example and My Little Pony. However, it's gonna be different this time. And we also do have the Janet being picked up, which I believe we saw last game. Except it is it's a different support player. It's not gonna be Torque. They did have to sub in the Amazing 9 instead of Torque, so we won't be seeing Torque being played in this whole series, I believe. Anyways, these next 2 picks, oh gosh, Twisted Fate and Shen.
Twisted Fate and Shen. I don't believe we've seen Twisted Fate over on Frontlines' side. We have seen it banned by Frontlines 3 times. This is an example of what they did yesterday. Yesterday, they played 5 games. They had 3 games where they banned Twisted Fate, 5 games where they banned Blitzcrank, 4 games where they banned Thresh, and 1 game where they picked Thresh. So those are the 3 champions they're most concerned about. And so what they're doing this time is they're picking up that Twisted Fate to keep it out of LBX's hands. Now, LBX hasn't played it. Tony hasn't played it. But LBX's mid lane sub, who they had yesterday, did play Twisted Fate in 1 game. So it's possible that it's somewhat to keep it out of their hands. They think it's a possibility it might get picked, but I don't feel it likely. As we will see the Darius pick come out for top heavy. He played that very successfully day 1, and I'm interested in seeing what tech picks up here.
Yeah, I just think it's we're gonna be seeing these double goals coming out, and that is gonna be Draven for the AD carry, as well as Darius being picked up here. So the Blood Brothers being picked up here. Those 2 Noxians, both of them, those execution gladiator people. I'm not even sure, but they're just such strong champions. Both of them, they came out there insanely strong, and looks like these next 2 picks could possibly be the double Yordle down bottom lane, which we did see being played by My Little Pony last game.
Yeah, we have seen tech on Draven in the start. Well, we actually haven't seen it on stream, I believe, but we did see it in one of the 2 matches they played offline. It's been a bit hard for me this morning when I was doing my research to find out a lot about Lead by Example, as 2 of their matches yesterday, due to scheduling issues, had to be played offline. So I don't know how he is on Draven. I believe he went 3-0-5 in that game, but that's not very, doesn't really indicate much to me, because I can't really tell if they weren't fighting what happened. Tristana on the other side coming in for Sinro. I believe that was actually one of the usual target bans against Sinro yesterday. We saw 4 bans on Tristana in the 1 game. Again, they picked it if it wasn't banned. So they've given themselves 1 comfort champion with that Tristana and 1 champion they're afraid of with that Twisted Fate.
Yeah, so we have these picks finished up. We have Rise being picked up, most likely for the mid lane. What do you think of this Rise?
Well, we did see Rise picked up by Tony in game 2 of their first match versus My Little Pony. Sorry, actually, game 3. It's something that he has picked up in the past when it's his sort of main champions, Diana Kha'Zix, like that, get banned out against him. In the one game I saw him playing it, he made a bit of a mistake at level 2 and gave up first blood and sort of lost the lane off of that, so it's not really a good indication. I know My Little Pony, who I believe did quite a bit of research going into this, and I had massive respect for their ban strategy because their ban strategy was right on point for most of the time. They banned Rise in their first 2 games against Lead by Example, and when you consider that Tony's sort of known for Diana, known for Kha'Zix, they weren't worried about banning those out. They were worried about banning the Rise out. That speaks to how good he is on that champion, but I'm not entirely certain.
Yeah, so we are into the 3 minute spectator delay, so we can go ahead and take down those summoner blockers. We do see a teleport coming out from this Rise. Everything else is pretty much standard. There's an Ignite on the Shen. No teleport coming out for him for like double global presence. But there is also the cleanse on the Draven. So what do you think of these summoner spells?
Well, the cleanse on the Draven, I mean, I can see where that's coming from. That's the taunt on Shen. It's the pick a card off of Twisted Fate. Even the polymorph off of Lulu, I believe, is cleansable, if I'm remembering correctly. Uh, there's even a small amount of Nautilus ult that's cleansable that Zephyros brought up on the forums a while back about how the knockup isn't cleansable, but there's an associated stun after the knockup, which is cleansable, so you can minimize the amount of time that you're CC'd from it. So I can see where he's picking that up with a lot of the CC on the enemy team. However, the barrier on Tristana, I think, probably was the right choice there as well. You're not seeing as much CC on Lead by Example's side. You're only seeing these 2 really hard CCs, aside from, well, actually 3 if you include Janna Tornado. You're seeing the Rise Snare, the Nocturne Fear, which is situational, and the Janna Tornado, which has that associated wind-up time. So I can see why he would take Barrier over Cleanse there.
And definitely. So this is League of Legends Rising Stars series. The season 2 tournament. This is a really nice tournament. I mean, it's good. This is a best of 5 actually. So we're seeing potential 5 games being played up here. I think is if LBX, because they came from the losers bracket, they have to win 2 best of 5s to win the tournament. So this could be a really difficult challenge for them because I mean. They have to win 2 best of 5s. That's a lot of games, like potential 10 games because of this series, which I really hope it doesn't go to because that would be a lot of games. But um, these 2 teams are gonna be really great. We've been seeing really great play from LBX, and of course front lines obviously had to be amazing to get to the tournament through the winners bracket. But the winner of this tournament does get that the scrim versus Cloud9 of Velocity Esports, as well as $20 of RP for each player in a Triumphant Rise skin. So that's obviously extremely nice. And then the scrim versus Velocity Esports or the scrim versus Velocity Esports at Cloud9 Gaming is just great for experience and possibly seeing how well you measure against those 2 LCS teams.
Yeah, it's very. I was completely shocked. I mean, when they first came up with the idea of let's try and get some LCS teams in here to scrim against our teams, I was like, this is never going to happen. And then both of
Yeah.
those teams stepped right up to it and agreed to it. So, obviously, massive thanks to them. Both of these teams have guaranteed themselves that scrim. The winner gets their choice of who they get to go up against. So, I mean, I personally would pick Velocity just because I love those guys, but
Yeah, they're like from Maple Street and Chris, and they're in DKBnet. Their team is, or not DKBnet, NK Inc. Their team is absolutely scary.
yeah,
Uh,
I have massive love for Vile Rose just in
oh
general.
yeah,
So, uh, going into this game, I think it's somewhat important to note how both of these teams got here. Lead by Example has had the longest journey possible, essentially. They got knocked out 2-1 in the first round by My Little Pony down to the losers bracket. Then they had to face Stag 420's Posse, beat them 2-0. Poho Pimps beat them 2-0. Fallback Gaming beat them 2-0. Came up against My Little Pony again, beat them 2-0. So they've already played 11 games in this tournament both so far going into this. Frontlines, however, they've only played 3 best of 3s going into this. So
yeah.
they're a lot fresher going into this than the other team. They have 8 games, so there's that 3 extra. And if Lead by Example wins this whole tournament, they're looking at a minimum of uh, 17, I believe, games played in
Yeah.
this tournament. So it has been an absolute marathon day for these two, or for these guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens and if they can maintain that level of control and focus they had in that last game versus My Little Pony.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're gonna be talking about the My Little Pony series because that was a great series. I mean, the first game is absolutely outstanding. I mean, we got so close, and it's just pretty much solid play. Like from the beginning to end, it was solid play from the whole series. It's just solid play from uh, lead by example, and we'll see. Yeah, like as you're saying, we'll see if that can come into this game. So, anyways, we are into this game here. Looks like standard starts coming off. Everyone just sort of playing passively around the jungler and whatnot. Pretty much standard starting builds. We do see Lulu deciding to go for the all consumables build here. It goes for some extra health potions and some mana potions. Meanwhile, no, that was Janna. Meanwhile, Lulu opting to go for the fairy charm as well as some wards and whatnot. Also up at top lane, we're seeing rejuvenation beads on both of these guys, except Shen decides to start with 2 rejuvenation beads, and Dares decides to start with 1. Mid lane, we're seeing the boots coming out. Twisted Fate definitely helps him off when he goes into trade. Rising off with a crystalline flask.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain I like that boot start on Twisted Fate. I feel like if you're going to start boots into mid lane nowadays, you're going to be doing so against someone where you absolutely need to dodge the skill shot, and Rise is pretty much all click to cast, so basically all he's going to be able to do with those boots is position himself better in a place where he maybe can't get snared. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the right pickup for him. I think he would have been a lot more he would have benefited a lot more from either a similar flasks and pots start to what Rise opened, or possibly a wards and pots start.
Yeah, so what do you think this first gank is going to be coming down?
First gank, I'm not entirely certain. I feel like you'll probably see it in mid lane. I feel like we've seen a lot of action around that mid lane, and we have spotted one right here.
Yeah, but it looks like they just have to back off of that, not able to get onto Herf Jones here in the middle lane. So just go ahead and back off of there. I mean, there's lots of wards coming off from these starts. Just pretty much like the whole top river is littered with wards. A lot of these wards are in relatively the same areas too. So they just want to play the safe early games. It looks like actually the bottom lane of the game coming out from Yellow Beast, the amazing nice tornado coming out, but Yellow Beast flashing here, putting up the snare onto Tech. Sinru going in. There's a cleanse coming off, and Tech is trading the damage back, but the barrier does come off. And it looks like both of these AD carries are gonna get so low, but still live at the end of it.
Yeah, and Frontlines definitely came out on top of that because they did not burn the flash on Tristana, did not burn any summoner spells on Lulu, but Lead by Example had both their flashes burned, cleanse burned, exhaust burned, so everything they have is down at this point. The only thing that fell for Frontline side was, I believe, the flash on Nautilus in addition to the barrier on Tristana, so that's very beneficial to Frontlines if they want to try and be aggressive at any point in time, which they don't necessarily want to do, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, so Draven going back, picking up those boots as well as a few potions there. So just going, obviously just boots, potions, good. Okay, well. Okay, so it looks like Tristan will be going back. She has 700 gold to spend. We'll see if she decides to go. Yep, just going to be going with those boots too. Also, Nocturne had an early back, one for those Madrid's Razors. So just wants to get an early jungle clear in. Surprised not to see a spirit, or like any of the spirit items coming out from him. Both, like all those are very, very useful, but just going for the very fast jungle clear. He is up at top lane now though. Lane is starting to push. He's going to be coming out a little bit early, and the Shadow Dash from Rebuff is able to get him out of there pretty easily.
Yeah, and I noticed that Tristana bought a longsword instead of potions, like Tech did. So what we're going to see is she's going to have to be really careful to not just get chunked down and forced out of lane by Draven, which, especially with those empowered axes, we see Tony flashing in mid lane to avoid the Nautilus gank.
Yeah, he's gonna like Nautilus ganks are just super scary early game, and they can just absolutely wreck you with the amount of CC he's able to output. Meanwhile, up top lane trading going off. Oh, like the sustain from Shen definitely looks like it's winning out right now.
Yeah, this is a very different sort of top lane too from what we've seen in that past match with Lead by Example versus Pony. And Lead by Example versus Pony had both Renekton and, as we're seeing a gank in mid lane, I'll come back to this in a moment.
Yeah, the Yellow Beast flashing there. There's the stun card, and there is the well, not the stun card, but there's the ignite coming down. First blood coming up. Of course, just saying this now is going to completely scary, and Herf Jones was able to capitalize on that and was able to pick up the kill. So now it's finally doing his job. They're picking up the assist for his team, and it looks like now it's heading over to bottom lane.
Yeah, we do see the Tear of the Goddess pick up on Rises.
Oh jeez, Yayapuff. Oh, the bleed gonna be able to take out Cinderu jumping in there, but Tech was able to take out Yayapuff just way too quickly. Of course, it's that early game Draven.
Yeah, I feel like they made a fairly large error not grabbing any health potions or like that on their backs, because they have no sustain in that lane against that Draven. That Draven is just gonna beat them down fairly hard for a while. So we're seeing another bit of an engagement in top lane, but as I was saying before, it's a bit different because last match we saw top heavy and top otter both playing. The three champions that played top: Malphite, Renekton, and Garen. That sort of build kind of tanky. We're going to see now Darius, who's not quite as much of a tank later on. He does build tanky items, but it's not really the same as having like a Renekton who dives in. He's more looking to grab someone, pull them to him, as opposed to dive into the enemy team. So we're not seeing that dive top from top heavy, but we're seeing something that's trying to grab stuff into his own team.
Wow, so looking over at Thor, he has actually gone for this early Wriggles Lantern, which is it's very interesting for him to pick up because for one thing it gives him a free ward, and that's obviously very nice to have wards, especially in organized play to have that map coverage. But I just think it's so interesting he actually went for that Wriggles Lantern just over anything, and he's already hit level 6, so I guess he has enough mobility. He'll have his Q, he can go on and gain movement speed. But I just think it's really interesting that he decided to go for that Wriggles Lantern really rush. What do you think of it?
When I see Wriggles Lantern early, I think that this is a team that wants to take Dragon.
Oh, actually, Destiny coming in down to the bottom lane. Yellow Beast is following up there. Here comes the Paranoia from Thor, but he's not in range just yet. Jumping right onto Herf Jones. Meanwhile, Yellow Beast getting the attack, taking a bit dangerous. He's juggling 2 axes, turning on the Sen Ryu. But here comes the Shen, staying 9, flashing away. Shen is going to be able to get into there, but the Shadow Dash won't be able to hit anything. Thor picks up the kill on the Sen Ryu. Thor is really low there. The Ignite is down onto Yayapuff, picks up the kill with the auto attacks. Yellow Beast goes down, Tech picking that one up. Reruff is caught in a room prison. Tony B has also come down here with the teleport. That was pretty much all of the globals used in that fight. Yeah, it was. Teleports being used. Both ultimates from the side of front lines being used, as well as the Paranoia from Nocturne. And that was just a lot of people got involved from that.
Yeah, that was a very, very intense fight too. It was kind of everyone showing up in bot lane suddenly, like you said, all those globals used at once. But it has left top heavy alone by himself to push this top lane. It looks like he's going to get a bit of damage on it before Nautilus can show up and clear.
Yeah, Darius just does some decent damage to Tide, especially with his crippling strike. Really gives a lot more damage to that. It's about half health. Yeah, that bottom lane, the kills going over the Draven. He's now 2-0-1. He is 34 CS ahead of Tristana. He has now picked up a BF sword and finished up the Berserker Greaves, and that's just gonna hurt down the bottom lane.
Yeah, at this point, Draven has an 1100 gold lead onto Tristana, and that's just absolutely massive at the 10-minute mark for one champion to have.
Herf Jones might be in a bit of trouble. He's going to be snared down. He has the gold card. No, he does not have the gold card. He has to use the red card. Will be taken down by Tony B. Yellow Beast can be running into the door. Looks like Top Heavy has also joined. This is definitely a dead Yellow Beast. Thor picking that one up. Oh, they might turn around because they do see Riff. Oh, Riff fails the Shadow Dash. Will be pulled in. Has to use the flash. but he's gonna get snared, and they're gonna be going with the Ducky. Knight does come down. Tony B picking up that kill. That was a huge misplay coming out from the side of front lines, losing 3 people, and now they will even lose their blue buff.
Yeah, LBX again demonstrating that really strong aggressive play that we saw them employ against Pony in that second game that they almost kind of pulled out of nowhere. Like, they suddenly refined their style completely, and they're gonna get quite a bit of damage.
Oh my
on the
gosh! Bottom lane just. There's like 3 axes, and then the ultimate just absolutely melted Scenery right there.
I
Jeez,
am
that's just
speechless
early
about that
power
one.
Just early power Draven. He has a BF sword by 10 minutes. He is going to rip people apart, and it's this aggressive team of lead by example. And they're just like the aggressive team just being shown here. They're being so aggressive right now. They're just pushing out onto all these lanes. Haven't gone for these objectives just yet, but they're just keeping themselves ahead.
Yeah, if you just look at the gold across the map, I mean, we mentioned that 1,000 gold on Draven over Tristana. It's up to 1,500 gold now, and not too much of a disparity between Janna and Lulu. You wouldn't expect there to be too much right now. Generally, that's something that comes out later, depending on who gets like a gold per 10 item first, and who's getting assists. But Lulu has that kill to balance out. Mid lane, you have a very slight advantage for lead by example. Rise has about 100 gold over Twisted Fate, but jungle and top lane, you have 500 gold up in the top lane, Darius over Shen, and another 700 gold top lane, or in jungle, Nocturne over Nautilus. So, lead by example looking very, very good even this early into the game.
Yeah, it's just, oh man, this game already looking up. It looks like they could potentially go for this dragon as well. And the thing is that, you know, when you have those globals, like, people say like Twisted Fate, your most important gank is the first one you have when you hit level 6. He went down the bottom lane, did not go their way. Draven was able to get a kill off of that, and they were just able to use that to snowball down in that bottom lane. And it's just, you know, they were like, oh, we have Shen and we have Twisted Fate, we can have that global presence. And what happened? They had a Paranoia coming out from Nocturne, they had Rise coming down there as well with the teleport, and it just absolutely wrecked that engage down in bottom. And now Draven, just look at him, he's going super aggressive, he's just throwing out those axes, and he's really just winning out this bottom, and he has 103 CS to 58.
Yeah, I think soon you're also going to see top tower fall to top heavy. Yeah, he does take it right now, continuing to put quite a bit of pressure onto Reruff on Shen, looking to grab him with the hook and maybe make something happen here.
Yeah, nice, like, the ignites are going off. Here comes the Destiny from Twisted Fate. However, Heavy was able to pick up the kill. The Price just barely grazing him. He's trying to get the auto attack off. The Paranoia came in from Thor from behind, picks up the kill. Great map presence coming out of Thor there, and nice teamwork from those two.
Yeah, lead by example. Also getting bottom tower off of that. So they've gotten 2 towers just in the past minute or so, and it's only 13.5 minutes in. They have a 5.7 or so gold, 1,000 gold lead. This early in the game, that's absolutely massive. So, as long as they don't make any major mistakes, they should be fine. As we see Tony putting quite a bit of hurt onto Nocturne, or Nautilus.
Yeah, Yellow Beast is only level 7. Just look at this. Yallerpuff is level 6. Oh, actually, bottom lane, Cinder, you're getting taken down.
Getting taken down in midair by Whirling Death there, so...
Really? Oh man, that's just rough.
Yeah,
and looks like mid lane, Herf Jones is in trouble. That's top heavy, and Thor has shown up, and now we're gonna be going after him. Twin Shadows comes out, gonna be able to slow them down. And once again, we talked about this in the last game we saw from lead by example playing again. Look at the ward coverage in this jungle. It's everywhere. They just have wards all over this map. They're really using that, and it's just, oh man, just that ward coverage. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say this for what must be now the 50th time over the past 2 games, but LBX is just a night and day difference from the start of this tournament to right now. Frontlines I didn't get a chance to watch too much of, so coming into today they were sort of a wild card for me. I mean, LBX I had quite a bit of experience with. I researched them with my old team just for match purposes, so I already knew a lot of their stuff coming into this tournament, but I'm a lot more impressed now with them than I was during that scouting. I mean, it doesn't really do justice to how they've been playing today.
Yeah, and just look at this. They're going for this mid tower, and looks like they might be repelled off of it, but they just put down the damage. Shouldn't be gonna get stunned and pulled in by, excuse me, by the dredge line, but looks like he'll be okay. They actually have tech coming in here as well as Thor to push down this tower.
Yeah, and they will manage to pick that up. Now it looks like they're just going to go take Dragon, so they're going to be... I mean, they're already 6,500 gold ahead. They're going to be 7,500 gold ahead at the 16-minute mark after taking this Dragon. And that 1,500 gold lead on Draven is now 2,500 gold. That's closing in on an entire BF sword item, you know. At this rate, in another 5 minutes, it will be an entire BF sword item. And just looking at the items, you see that Bloodthirster and Cloak of Agility to a Vamp Scepter and a Doran's Blade, and it's just such a massive difference that it's going to be really, really hard for front lines to come back from this at this point.
Yeah, and it's just like the front lines really have to pull it together. I mean, they went out the winners bracket, and like to see them just getting destroyed in this early game. I mean, it's a best of 5. They have 2 more chances to come back from this. You know, just in terms of the game. So, you know, hopefully they'll be able to do that. And hopefully, like, in this whole game, I mean, they have Tristana. That's a late game champion right there. Same thing for Shen, who wants to get tanky. Nas wants to get tanky. Like, they can get that tanky front line. But it's just Draven is already going to be spinning out of control. They need to get, like, to that late game and just try to farm it up. And it actually looks like they're going to be running into each other. Rerev walking around in top heavy. He's going to be putting out this taunt onto Amazing 9. There's Janelson coming across the Tober coming in from Tony B going for yellow base. Rerev is taken now by top heavy. And it looks like Yaya Puff is in between a few members of Lead by Example, and there's no way she's getting out of this one. She's a level 7 Lulu. She is gone. Tony picking up that kill. 3 for 0, and now a tower is going to be going down.
You can almost see the panic there, rocking back and forth across the lane. Like, what do I do now? This is going to be very bad for me. It's just going to be a matter of who I die to at this point. But that just goes to show that Frontline has lost complete control over the map. They were in their own jungle and they got caught. So...
Oh jeez, Sinryu just getting absolutely burst down. He uses the Bear and the Standing United, but not going to be blocking any damage. That Thor is going to be taken out. Or Thor is going to be able to take out Yellow Beast there. Snare going up onto Rebuff. He uses his taunt to get, or Shadow Dash to get out of there. And gee, it's just dominating early gameplay coming out of Lead by Example. And they really have the champions to utilize the fact that they have just been winning early, especially that Draven.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking an inhibitor. It's the 18-minute mark. But what's going to matter from here is, as long as they don't make any mistakes and they do manage to close out this game, what's going to matter from here on out is how Frontlines responds to this. Frontlines has 2 more games in this and then another best of 5. So they have 5 more games at least if they're going to lose. They're going to lose in 5 more. They have to be able to keep their heads down, keep working, and just keep everything going well. Otherwise, you know, if they let themselves get down, just start throwing
Guy going off into Tony Dredge, and it is going to be hitting him even through the flash, and it looks like they might be able to take him out. Yes, they will. Shutdown coming off. Yellow Beast picks that one up. That's the first kill in a while, but still a kill nonetheless. They're able to get that. And that's got to be nice of them to finally get a kill, even if it's on the jungler. And it's just that's kind of what they need. They need to get these pickoffs. They need to ward up their own jungle, because obviously that LBX is going to be operating pretty much within their own jungle, because all these towers are going down. It's pushed up to these inner towers, are top and middle. So if they're really able to get that ward control back, then I think they'll be able to turn things around, because they can definitely catch people off with the amount of single target CC that they have.
Yeah, they have to worry about stopping the bleeding, stabilizing, like you said, reestablishing some control over their own jungle. We've seen at least one fight where Reruff face-checked a bush in his own jungle, and that was him getting caught out. So, you know, it's just... it's hard for them at this point. But like I said, they need to keep their heads down and keep working towards it, because right now they can't afford to sort of get down off of this. Yeah. I know that's something that doesn't really get touched on a lot, but especially on teams at this level, you have to keep your mentality up. And even if you're like not confident yourself, you have to stay confident so the rest of your team doesn't get unconfident, as we see Shen coming around this corner now.
Yeah, and Herf Jones is really low here. Tony is just waiting for the pickoff because he does have the ward there. Meanwhile, chasing at the Reruff, looks like he'll be okay. Yeah, I can just walk out of there. So, this could be the factor of how we were saying, like, LBX has played already today. Like, they've been playing today for a while, and they've also been playing a lot in this tournament. Like, with how many matches they had to go through. Frontlines maybe not that much, maybe they got a little bit rusty. Maybe they need this game to, like, help recuperate and get themselves together. Aurora is saying, lead by example, picking up this Baron.
Yeah, and that is a 20-minute Baron for them. And I don't even know at this point. It's the way in for Frontlines is to turtle, and that just got a lot harder with that Baron buff getting picked up by lead by example, and they're going to be looking to really make something happen with this right now.
Yeah, they're just gonna shred down this inner tower. I mean, it's completely gone. A really cool game, just with the pushing power of not Nautilus, of Darius and Draven is just really, really strong. And looks like they'll be heading over to mid lane, just using their Baron buff just to keep on applying the pressure. Because I mean, even without the Baron buff, they could probably still pull this off. But now they just have even more confirmation that they could completely win over in a team fight. And looks like they will be splitting up their team. They have Amazing That in tech, pushing down this inner tower at bottom lane. It's almost taking it down. While they have Heavy and Tony B pushing off that mid lane, they will be able to take out that middle inner tower.
Yeah, their split pushing is working very effectively for them because they can't respond to either side of it, and it looks like they're maybe trying to get Thor out there. Top Heavy going in on this now.
Yeah, Herf Jones is super low. Dunk comes out, picks up the kill. Top Heavy on a killing spree, gets the second dunk off. Actually, nope. Tech picks up that kill. Reruff went into the team, but he is in trouble now. Yaya Puff getting melted down. Reruff is dead. He will be going down. Dunk comes out from Heavy. Cannot quite finish off Yaya Puff. The GG's well played, and actually a surrender vote is coming off because, well, it's kind of inevitable with how that early game, with how Lead by Exam was just able to win that out so well. So we will be going on into a game 2. This is a best of 5, so the first to 3 games won will be able to progress on. However, for Lead by Example, because they have come out of the losers bracket, they do have to win 2 best of 5s before they can win the tournament. So hopefully we'll be getting into this second game very, very soon.
Yep, and we will see you at the other side of this very short break.
Okay, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the League of Legends Rising Star Series Season 2 tournament. And this is the grand, or not the, well, not really grand finals, but the finals between Frontlines and Lead by Example. And this is Game 2, Lead by Example, leading the series by one game. I'm
And
Forsaken, and I'm joined by Lucino Jen, who I just interrupted there. Sorry about that.
sorry, I thought you were done what
Yeah,
you're
I
saying.
had to pause.
This is not only the a best of 5 series, but if Lead by Example wins and they are up one game, this is the first of two best of 5 series. So we might
Yep.
be in for a very long night as we see that Lux ban directed at Herf Jones coming off of Lead by Example.
Of course, most of these bands coming out here, excuse me, are okay, I could completely blanked out our targeted bans to players on the other teams, as you were saying before, and also Nocturne being banned out here. So taking out a bit of that aggression. Apparently, they did not like that Nocturne being picked up on, for LBX Thor, which was the jungler. So those are all the bans banned out there. Pretty much targeted bans all around, and kind of what you would see from the files, but it does leave a lot of things open, and this guy's definitely trolling me with hovering over Gangplank.
Yeah, the Kha'Zix ban actually is a bit surprising to me. The first time I thought it was because they didn't have first pick, but this time around it's because they don't want to pick it. So I'm expecting them to see maybe a Thresh. We saw Torque on that a couple games earlier. It
But
was
Troy's
very
not in this
successful.
game.
That's right. Torque is not in this game, but they might have practiced it with the Amazing Nine too, so who knows?
Yeah.
We'll pretend that what I just said made sense given the situation. Kha'Zix, I expected the first game was a targeted ban because I thought they didn't want to see it. They're going to pick up that Janna first, but I would have figured they
Yep.
would have picked up
You
that
tried to bait
Kha'Zix.
me. You tried to bait me with being excited for the fact that they were gonna play Gangplank. Because in the past, I was telling them in the game lives, play Gangplank and you'll win. And you tried to bait me. You tried. Anyways, yep, that Janet gonna be picked up there once again for LBX. They've been playing that quite a bit, and I guess it's been working out for them. They've been 2-0ing these past few series. So, but looks like these next few picks here, the Zac has been locked in, and potentially Oriana.
We have not, I believe, seen Herf Jones on Oriana yet. We've seen
Maybe
Oriana
not.
on a lot of other people. I can't remember if that was targeted against them in the past. However,
Well,
Draven
they
will
don't
come
even
out
lock.
instead.
Yep, we had the Draven as well as the Zac. Zac just being such a strong jungler, really tanky, has great mobility, has the elastic slingshot to provide CC, avoid ganks, has great sustain in the jungle. Of course, Let's Bounce just being such a disruptive ultimate to have. And that Draven, apparently they were like, well, they had Draven last game, we can pick it up this game, and we'll see how it goes for them. So Thor picking up that Nautilus, oh yeah. We saw Nautilus a few times being played on him. He was very strong with it, very effective. And just gonna have to wait. Looks like hovering over the top lane pick for LBX here.
It'll be interesting to see what they pick up, and I think they'll decide on that Darius because that's just worked so well for them in that top lane. Top heavy has looked fairly dominant on Darius so far. I'm not entirely certain what you're going to see the mid lane pick up for LBXB at this point. I expected in the first game that if they weren't going to ban Kha'Zix this game, they were going to try and pick it up. But I guess I had that wrong, so we're going to see something that I'm really not sure what I'm really not sure what to expect at this point. It looks like we might see an Elise pick up from front lines.
Well, definitely an Elise pick up because it is locked in there, as well as potentially Leona. However, back to Elise. Elise is most likely a top laner. Has been nerfed quite a bit. She was super popular. There's quite a few people that can play the Elise very well. One would be Chris over for Velocity East West. He plays such a scary Elise. And the thing is, Elise is that she has the potential to absolutely burst people down. Like looking at her team right now, that Leona is going to be locked in. So has a fairly decent tanky front line. She might not have to go too tanky herself because the damage Elise is just absolutely bursty. So the Leona is picked up there. What do you think of this Leona Draven bottom lane?
What do I think of Leona Draven as a bottom lane? I think they really
Yep.
want to kill something. What do I think of Leona necessarily for their bottom lane? I think that these are a bit out of what they've played. In day one, they didn't play Leona at all. They didn't play Draven at all. So these are something that this is something we haven't really seen from front lines. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull it off. As we're now hovering over the Vigar pick to continue trolling with the Gangplank now.
Yeah, they just try to bait me to be excited. The one that there will actually be a game plan that I cast now, I can be happy. However, it is looking like Gragas and Caitlyn. I'm gonna draw my sentences to make sure I don't get baited into saying something that doesn't happen, but it is gonna be the Gragas and the Caitlyn. And nope, it's the Rise, so what do you think of those pickups? And I'm gonna have to be right back, hold on.
Well, at this point, LBX is picking up a lineup that is based on what we've seen so far. Pretty much their standard. They picked up that Caitlyn Janna bottom lane, which I think they're undefeated with in this tournament on both champions. Not necessarily together, but just even individually. And I know it was Torque as support on that Janna in the past couple of games. This time it's amazing 9, so it's a bit different. The Rise pickup's been fairly solid. The one game that LBX has lost the entire tournament, however, well, one of the 2 games was on Rise, so can't really say that it was a stellar 100% record there. But that's been solid for him. Darius has been really solid for him. The Nautilus has been really solid for him. So they're going very strong. We are seeing the Orianna pickup onto Herf Jones from front lines. That's something that we haven't seen from him. So what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing lead by example is coming in. They're playing what they know. They're playing what they know well. They're playing what they've had success with. Frontlines is trying something different. And like we said in that last game, Frontlines has the rest of this best of 3 and then another one after if they lose it. So they have 5 games to burn here. They can afford to try something different. That's a luxury they have by making it through the difficult winners bracket to get here. So I will be very interested to see what they do with that. The Zac Oriana can be a very, very potent combination. Even the same kind of thing with Leona Oriana, even Elise Oriana to an extent. They have a lot of stuff that can get that ball where it needs to be for command shockwave. They have the Draven very strong in lane with the Leona as well. They're going to be able to just drop someone very quickly if they manage to get on him fairly well. We are seeing the summoner spells here. We're seeing another cleanse on tech on Caitlyn, and that's definitely for the Leona and the Elise specifically. The stun from Leona with that Draven down there, like barrier is not going to help you anywhere near as much as cleanse, and getting out of there will help. So that's probably the right pickup for them. You will see barrier once again on Sinro on front line, so nothing really too interesting. We'll see a teleport on Tony B in that mid lane. We saw him run that last game, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. I could just be misremembering at this point. My brain's going a bit fuzzy right now. But the teleport there was, I believe, in response to the Twisted Fate. But this time around, there isn't a Twisted Fate giving that global presence. So that's just so you can roam around the map as much as you want and hopefully influence influence lanes elsewhere. That's going to be how he roams. Rise is a bit immobile on his own. He walks slowly. He's just kind of slow moving. That teleport allows him into it. So basically, at this point, jungle, you're going to see about the same thing that we've seen Thor run on jungle. He's been playing very, very heavy into that pressure. He ganks, I believe, mid fairly often early. That's what I see a lot, mid or top. He doesn't really go bot lane very much early in the game. He seems to be going bot lane a bit later once his support and 80 down there have gotten a few levels and have a bit more to bring to the table. But I wouldn't be too surprised to see an early gank onto Herf Jones in that mid lane on that Oriana with the combination, the very potent combination of the Rise Snare and the Nautilus hook. And Nautilus has his own snare, obviously, on his auto attacks as well. So that would be something that would be very, very scary for them to have happen. Or even if Darius gets a strong hook onto Elise, she has her repel, but she has to drop onto something. So that's just sort of a, if there's nothing good for her to drop to, that's just a temporary fix. It's not something that she can just get out of jail free card for. So, going to be interesting to see as we head closer and closer to this game. Got about 30 seconds left in delay period, so we will be in the game very, very shortly.
Well, I'm back. I'm really sorry about that. but I'm really not too sure what you've covered so far, so I'm not too sure what to say. Did you go over the summoning spells that they've picked up?
I covered everything. No.
Oh man,
Oh
dear,
no, there's enough.
dear
There's
me.
nothing left for you. I'm sorry. No. I
That
was just
sucks. Well,
discussing the possibility of an early gank from Nautilus onto that mid lane for Oriana because I feel like we've seen that a lot from him lately.
oh man, now I just don't know. I don't have any questions to ask anymore. That's, dude. You didn't leave me with any questions to ask. Now I need to find other questions to fill time.
I wasn't sure if you're when you were going to be back. I was just filling time. I sort of ran out of things to talk about the 2nd minute mark and had to make stuff up. So we will see whether or not Tony can use the cow he has hidden under his desk appropriately.
The calc he has hidden
Yeah, like I
under.
said, I had to move to making stuff up. Just roll with it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. That cow is just extremely important for his gameplay. You know, if he can pull that out really well, then he's just gonna absolutely rock the world of this game. So,
I feel like that was a terrible joke, and there's really not any need to milk it. So let's move into this game.
okay, so let's go ahead and move on. I really do not know how to fill time anymore. Well, did you talk about how they're gonna play Velocity versus Cloud9? You know, those two
No,
players.
I did not talk about
Yeah.
that. I ran out of that at some point. I completely slipped my mind. So yes,
Well, that's okay, because we're in the game. We have been saved. So we can go ahead and talk about these early game items being picked up here. Of course, pretty much standard starts for the AD carries, going for those ever so popular Doran's Blades. Darius starting off the no Magic Mantle up at top lane. Definitely important versus an Elise. Very charmed start for Oriana. There's a rejuvenation beat start for Leona. Janet going with the all consumable start. And then Rise going with the crystalline flask. One fairy charm for Elise.
yes, the no
It's
magic
like,
mantle start for Darius I really like here. Gonna just prevent
right?
himself from getting poked out early.
Yep, and it looks like just pretty much normal starts, nothing too aggressive early on. We do see Tony and Thor actually going to put down wards. So you know, obviously wards just being such a very crucial thing to see early game, seeing where the jungler's going. Tony just putting on the pressure here by using those dance moves, just taunting Reruff right there. But overall, it's just pretty much standard. Not going to be going for anything it looks like at all. I'm not sure. But it looks like there's kind of Zack start red buff and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like Reruff had a bit of an opportunity to maybe catch Tony out there, but he started with his Q, didn't wait to see what was going on, to see if he needed to take that E for that stun. Had he been able to take that, there's a slight chance he might have been able to get onto Tony there, and they might have been able to pick something up, but at the end of the day, just smartly backing away, letting him have his little dance party next to the bush he warded, and it looks like they're going to start red buff on Zac, blue buff on Nautilus, fairly standard stuff. Would be interested to see if Zac ganks at level 3.
Yeah, I know Zack just being such a strong ganker, especially with that elastic slingshot, being able to kind of stand out of the way, potentially not being seen by wards, and it's just so strong for him. And you know, this pretty much stand jungle starts. We'll be seeing you know, bottom lanes go bottom lane. I really like this Janet pick actually versus Leona, just because she can get that disengage off with the tornado. It's kind of all about the timing though, because I believe you can tornado Zenith Blade out.
You
Just
can if your reflexes are good. It relies very heavily on knowing that you're going to get hooked and hitting that Q and mashing that button as quickly as you can. You have to be able to read your opponent, you have to be able to know what's going on, and you have to be able to react appropriately, and that's basically what Janna is all about, is just reacting appropriately to any given situation.
Yep, actually up in top lane, looks like Thor is waiting around as now it's just loving the early games. And there's a pulling onto Reruff right when he hit level 2. Flash away, but the Dredgeline does hit. He's gonna get the snare out, but there's a spider form release, and she just skitters out of there. And she will be okay. Looks like Yellow Beast down in the bottom lane looking for a gank of his own. He is pretty low, however, at that level 3 mark. Not too sure whether he can do too much. He actually pops a health potion. And I guess we'll see if he decides to do anything.
Yeah, and this is that level 3 gank I was talking about with with Zac, and it looks like he's still considering going for it. There goes the Zenith Blade, not going to land, and in he goes.
Yeah, but he's not able to get anything off. Nice trap going off onto Yaya Puff there, or I guess nicely placed by Tech there to stop her from advancing. So gank repelled, and the Yellow BC loses quite a bit, I think, in the jungle. But I guess he should be he should be okay because Thor also was hanging around top lane for a while. Well, it just like Thor hasn't even picked up his red buff yet. Wow, he's going for that now. He went straight from blue buff to the gank up in top.
That was an incredibly early gank. So we see Top Heavy putting quite a bit of harassment onto Reruff at this point, just with that one hook spin thing combo. Ability names, I'm good with them.
Wait, what? Apprehend on Darius? Or
Apprehend, and then the one afterwards that he uses where he spins in a circle with his axe. You know the one. But basically, yes, I thought it was something like that.
Well, I'm mousing over, and that's how I know. But we'll just pretend I knew that off the top of my head.
We will pretend that you did, yes. Okay, so Zach looking like he wanted to make something happen, but there definitely is something about to happen in mid lane.
Yeah, something for like these junglers are really trying to make something happen, but they're not able to find the opportunities to really get these ganks down. Potentially sooner mid lane because there is a very large minion wave that is pushing up, but I don't know. It depends on it depends on Herb Jones. Yeah, he's just kind of playing defense here. No, he doesn't have to overextend just yet. Not until he has to CS a minion. Also up in top lane once again, Yellow Beast hanging around. He's actually still in the bush. Wow, what? Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, complete derping out there. But it looks like Top Heavy is semi-aware of this, and he's just gonna be going back. So 5 minutes into this game, very passive coming off. Or not looks like Thor coming into the mid lane has that dredge line going off the snare, going off on the Herb Jones. The snare also from the Nautilus passive, very heavy damage going off onto Oriana, but still able to live from that. Did have to use the flash right there, I believe.
Yeah, and we're just seeing a very passive sort of early game at this point. Junglers are trying to make stuff happen, but no one in the lanes is really trying to make anything happen aside from Top Heavy, who's been trying to take down Reruff and top and seems to have almost paid a bit for it at this point. But all of the pressure on the map right now is coming from the junglers. Neither lane is really that willing to go too hard on the other one. Caitlyn and Janna are willing to push up, but they don't seem to be able to actually do anything to Draven Leona off of it. So interesting to see from here on out what happens. I think a lot is going to come down to which jungler manages to get a successful gank off first.
Yeah, of course, because these are very high impact junglers. They really want to get the ball rolling for their teams. So it's like Darius having one back, picked up the Doran's blade, going for someone that's stayed in there as well as getting that damage. It's a bit risky because he's Darius. He doesn't have that. He's Darius. He doesn't have that much in the ways of escape. So getting ganked, he's not gonna have those boots or anything to try and get out, which could be pretty risky. Meanwhile, at least going for the hunting guys.
Yeah, hunting guys early on Elise, somewhat of a standard at this point. My apologies for yawning in the middle of that. It's been a long day so far and just sort of getting my second win, so to speak. But haunting guys on Elise, not too unusual. I mean, it gives her some health to survive the lane, gives her some AP, and it builds into Leandries, which we usually see fairly often on Elise.
Well, top lane, Heavy wants to trade with Reruff here. Of course, Heavy has a level 6, so it's kind of the prime time to trade when you're Darius. Just kind of get the surprise dunk out there. You're like, whoa, I'm level 6, I'm going to dunk you. And then he has gotten Reruff pretty low as a result of that, and he's going to be hanging out in the brush waiting for the next opportunity, I guess. But he's definitely looking to go aggressive.
Yeah, and that's just generally been Top Heavy's style through most of this tournament. He's been very aggressive. I would say probably the most aggressive mid laner in the tournament so far has been Top Heavy, at least that I've seen. So not too surprising to see him trying to make something happen on that Elise. But the question is whether or not he's actually going to be able to ever pull it off, because at this rate it doesn't seem to be working that great for him. They seem to be going fairly even.
Yeah, and well, we see Bomb actually 13 CSD for Draven, so he's actually winning that one out, going for that very early BF sword for that insane damage. Caitlyn not getting as much gold, has gone the other way of the Vampiric Scepter, so going for more of that sustained start, of course, but you know, we can see Bomb lane potentially going for some aggressive play soon.
And we do see the gank in top lane coming in now.
Oh yeah, Heavy getting taken down pretty low here, but oh wow, Tony actually comes up here, putting up the damage. Reruff is snared, flashing again. Heavy is going again. He's putting down damage on the Yellow Beast. They're both focusing different people. Tony is stopped under the tower. Double dunk coming off though. But Zach still able to get the kills down. And they just were not able to get anything up. I was really confused at what just happened there. Well, Zach passive came off, so he's going to be fine. And Rebuff did go down. Tony be picking that kill, but Tony got stuck under that tower when it was taken out.
Yeah, I just saw a whole bunch of stuff running underneath Frontline's tower, and then a whole bunch of stuff exploding on both sides. It seemed like everyone up there just died almost simultaneously. So Zach passive wins out, though. They will not be able to participate in the fun minigames of killing the blobs, so he's going to be able to be up there and push that to tower, and that's going to deny some experience onto Darius, which is going to be a bit rough for him if Elise gets a bit of a level advantage.
Yeah, so just looking back over the bottom lane, just really this Draven is just out CSing this Caitlyn. And it's surprising me, like you think of Caitlyn, like, oh, she has no bad matchup, she has so much range, she's just gonna stand in the back and kill minions and poke out, but not against Draven. Draven doesn't take any of that. Just is such a lane bull, and it's really just scaring her off right now, I think.
Yeah, partly that. I also feel like they sort of did it to themselves a bit. They shoved really hard to turret fairly early, and there's two different thought processes there. It's harder to last hit under turret, obviously, because you have to worry about the tower damage, but if you're okay at last hitting under turret, as we might see something happening around the blue buff of Frontlines right now.
Yeah, lots of people grouping up around here, but looks like LBX just goes ahead and backs off from that.
Yeah, Yaya Puff was forced to flash over the wall in that to avoid getting caught out, so that's very, very good thing for lead by example. Allows them to be a lot more aggressive now that the threat of that Leona flash is down, because, I mean, if you don't have Zenith Blade up, or if you want to use it a little bit later, Flash Q is always okay sometimes too. Always okay sometimes too. Yes, it is always okay sometimes.
So, picking up, looks like the Zac has actually gone for that Spirit at the Spectral, right? Going a little bit more for the damage, more sustained build to the tanky. That's because he's coming up to the top lane, going on to heavy. Rebuff wasn't able to get the second part of the repel down, so now Yellow Beast, he has to catch up to Yellow Beast chasing off heavy right now. And actually, Gobi taking this one around, gets the duck off the United, goes down, picks up the kill onto Yellow Beast. Rebuff chasing after heavy now. The auto attacks, come on, no, he leaves it alone. Griff Jones is coming in here, but wow, Heavy is gonna be able to live. What the? What?
And now Yaya Puff in trouble in this bottom lane.
How did this play? Oh yeah, Thor coming down here for the gank. Janelle comes across. Yaya Puff is gone. Thor picks up the kill.
So, lead by example just got thrown their chance to take the spot lane back in their direction, but it looks like they're gonna take the opportunity that was thrown to them to take Dragon instead. Probably the right move. Yep. That should give equalize the advantage down there as well, and give Tech a good chance to start farming a bit better in bot lane, even out that creep score a bit too.
Yep. So that Dragon is going to be going down, and geez, I just do not believe that he would live him that up in that top lane. Really unfortunate. That would have been a definitely kill on to Heavy if Rebuff would have been able to land the second part of the repel, but just not able to for whatever reason. That was unfortunate. So it looks like going back, Heavy was able to pick up that Hex Drinker, which is going to be so useful up in that top lane, able to get that shield off. But it's just how much, like, there's a lot of magic damage just coming out of the side of front lines here, and especially obviously in his land against Elise, so that's going to be really useful, especially with how Elise is building up with the magic penetration.
Yeah, we did see Yellow Beast get a bit stuck under mid tower there by Rise and Nautilus. They got a good bit of damage on them, managed to stop the pressure on that tower, but weren't quite able to seal the deal. Had they managed to sort of catch him harder under tower, they might have been able to pick up the kill while his passive was still down, but it would have been fairly close if they'd blown a lot of stuff on it, and they might not have picked it up. So probably for the better if they chose not to just fully go for it at this point, as Draven now seems afraid to CS with Caitlyn there, although there isn't really anything for him to grab now that I actually look at what's going on. My apologies.
Yeah, So, Yellow Beast just holding up top lane for a bit. And I'm being picked up here. Orion actually going for the Nisila Gerard really early. I'm surprised didn't rush that finish with the Chalice of Harmony for the Thieves and Holy Grail. Does have the Chalice though. I guess maybe it's enough for her. She wants to go more the damage route. We do see Rise just going with that. Build up the mana, has Catalyst, the Protector, as well as Tear the Goddess and the Blasting Wand mixed in. So is that going to be a Rite of Ages finish or an Arcade? There's actually Heavy going on to Yellow Beast, putting off the dunk. Let's be honest, being used. Apprehend not going to be able to finish it off. Will the bleed though? The bleed will trigger the passive. And that is going to be a passive down for Yellow Beast as well as an ultimate.
Yeah, that was a very good play by Top Heavy. He's just continuing to be really aggressive in that top lane. So I want to see if he's going to be able to do anything on Elise from now on, now that Elise has that Seeker's Arm Guard, because it's going to be a lot harder for him to get the damage necessary, although he does have that armor penetration passive on, I believe, his...
W.
Yes, on his Crippling Strike, so... going to be...
Wait, is it this W?
No, it's
Right,
actually
hold on,
A.
wait.
You were wrong.
Yeah, I'm wrong. Oh, I'm so wrong. Anyways, now that bottom lane, Senru were able to take out Dora as we were trying to put the tower dive on. Now Senru going on the aggressive double kill, picking up the Caitlyn, cooking a triple kill. Amazing 9 is stunned down. There is the axe, the triple kill coming off for Senru, completely turning around that bottom lane gang. They tried to dive into the tower, just not able to. And now this Draven, that's gonna start the snowball of Draven.
Yeah, this match has definitely been the League of Draven so
Top
far.
lane Rebuff going aggressive onto that top heavy, gets in there, picks up the kill. Well done by him.
Yeah, I feel like Top Heavy's been trying a bit too hard to make something happen at times on Reruff. As we see Tony maybe taking out Herf Jones in mid lane now.
Oh, yep, and he will be able to with his overload there, so able to get in there, pick up that kill. That's nice for him. But overall, the team at Frontlines is definitely doing well this game, and it's definitely not as prominent of the leads as we've seen coming out of Lead by Example, but it's still a lead overall.
Yeah, we've seen Draven doing especially well in these games throughout the tournament too. So, I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if we start seeing that showing up in bans through the rest of this match. It's been fairly strong for both teams now at this point. Last game you had Tech doing much the same in bot lane, although it was a lot more one-sided in that case just because Caitlyn is able to farm from that super long range regardless of what happens. So at this point, Lead by Example is down, but they're not really out. It's not anything that's not recoverable from, because Caitlyn is not getting just completely destroyed. She's behind on farm and Draven has kills, but it's not like she's just getting forced out by 2 auto attacks like was happening last game.
Yeah, so looks like there's a lot of people grouping up for this mid lane. Definitely not as many towers as we've seen taken down in previous games, although bottom lane, Tech and the Amazing Nine are going down for this. Ultimate does come across from Draven, and actually Thor is in here. He's going to be walking right into everybody. Now he's going to get absolutely destroyed. Does flash over the wall, and he will be okay after that, but he got taken on so quickly.
That was a bit odd because he has to have seen them in that ward he placed a couple seconds before that happened, so I'm wondering what exactly happened there. If that was just sort of lapse in judgment, if he thought only Draven was there, or what exactly was going on, because I believe if he'd have gotten vision off of that ward, it probably would have only been on Draven, so he might have thought, hey, this Draven's alone, I can stop him from getting to tower, and then suddenly Leona and Zac are there as well, so I would be interested to see what the thought process was there.
Yeah, Knight just doesn't have that flash. It's going to be really unfortunate for him, but it does look like they have switched Heavy and Tony. They sent Tony up top lane and Heavy in the mid lane, and looks like Yellow Beast decides that he wants to shut down Tony as he goes in for the gank, pressing him under the tower. Repel comes off from Rebuff there, but he doesn't jump back onto Tony, and he just stays up in there. And Tony will be able to live through that. Same thing for Riff. I know I completely missed that gank coming off from Thor on mid lane, picks up the kill.
Yeah, I saw what happened there for the most part because I wanted to make sure we caught some of that as well. What happened was Thor came in for a gank, then a shockwave managed to pull both away at the same time, and then an ultimate came down, the depth charge came down from Nautilus, just grabbed onto Herf Jones, and he had enough bleed stacks on that Darius just got the dunk on. That was basically it. But for the most part, he almost held it off, but then depth charge came out. As we see Dragon Bean take my lead by example, and Frontline's running away.
Yeah, the Amazing 9 taking so much damage. Rampage now for Synderew. The Dragon was taken out, but just Synderew getting in there, picking up another kill for himself. He now has a Bloodthirster as well as the BF, so that is just going to wreck faces. And, you know, that Dragon did give quite a bit of gold. It actually turns the gold lead in favor for lead by example, but still, with that Draven, I mean, he's going to go into team fights and wreck people.
Yeah, Draven's definitely concerned, much like it was last game. I'm just going to be... I don't know. I feel like this game is a lot more open, though, than last game where we had the really strong Draven. I feel like we sort of saw last game Frontlines lost elsewhere as well. Lead by example isn't really losing elsewhere. In mid lane, you have Ryze, who's actually up 800 gold on Orianna. In top lane, you have the Darius up 700 gold. The only major difference is at bot lane at this point.
Oh, looks like mid lane top heavy is in trouble. Just getting caught out here, but he's actually able to lift through that when the Gen Ultimate comes out, is able to heal him up, and he will be fine even after that. Meanwhile, bottom lane Tech able to pick up that tower, although this mid lane tower will surely be taken down.
Yeah, so tower for tower, and top heavy manages to live, but definitely going in the favor of lead by example. They forced out the ultimate off of Janna. They got a more valuable tower in that mid lane tower, and they really didn't burn much for it, as we see a bit of a catch now onto Reruff from Thor.
Yeah, but that repel coming up, but oh man, look at this top lane actually. We see Tony B really shoving up this top lane. Really death coming off from Jamin just to clear up the wave there, and he'll just go. Tony B goes ahead and goes back. So 2-3 in towers, 5-7 in kills. Gold lead still in favor though of lead by example, even with Frontlines ahead of them in the other two aspects of this game.
Yeah, and most importantly, just looking at the gold tab really quick, is the amount of gold that Caitlyn has in the bank. She's currently sitting on 2,500 gold, and it looks like she wants to go back and spend that right now. That's going to give her either a completed Bloodthirster or a completed Infinity Edge, whichever one she decides to go for. I think you'll probably see the Bloodthirster come out. As well as... things. Actually, we'll see the Infinity Edge. Wow, I'm surprised. I think we've seen Bloodthirster most every game on Caitlyn, and I think a lot of games on Tech as well, so it's a bit different this time.
Yeah, I'm going for the heavier damage build here. Although, I mean, obviously that's just not going to match up to Draven, who is BF Sword and Zeal ahead of her. And it actually looks like they're going to be running on into Thor here, who was going around the jungle, flashes over the wall a second time. He's been caught up by multiple members up front lines and has to have to use the flash, if that's what it means.
Yeah, and earlier you were asking if you were expecting to see the Archangel Staff or Rod of Ages. Never got a chance to answer that. The Rod of Ages has come out for Tony at this point in time. He does have that Glacial Shroud as well, so he's a bit tankier against the threat of that Draven. And that's a lot of the power of Lead by Example's comp, is that Ryze can afford to build kind of tanky. In the last game, we saw a mid lane which can't afford to build that tanky, otherwise just get...
Top lane, Yellowbee's coming in and the last shot doesn't hit. However, in the mid lane, we are seeing that Whirling Death come across. Thor getting extremely low there. The tower got to about less than half health, but it's just LBX. They're trying to get that early game, like the early game that they've gotten pretty much every game that they've been playing this year. They get that early game and they just go through with that, but this game they're just not able to get it, and Frontlines are holding, or at least trying to hold with their leads very, very well.
Yeah, and we see Tony on Ryze actually pressuring this top lane turret a little bit, having a bit of vocal difficulties now. He's actually pressuring two of them at that turret, but we do see Leona and Orianna coming out, so I think he's going to try and back off now. We are seeing that excellent ward coverage coming out from Lead by Example again, allowing them to do this.
Yep, even though they're not winning in the other aspects, as in the kill and the towers, they do still have that ward coverage that they're really good at putting down. So they just leave Tony B up pushing. I mean, he has wards around in the jungle to see if anyone's coming up, so he'll know if to, when to go back. Looks like they're actually stealing away this blue buff over here for LBX, and no one's gonna be responding to that. That's because Yellow Beast is going in with Let's Bounce, gonna get his passive proc now. Sinri and Rebuff are there to protect him, so passive proc, no harm done. We'll just go ahead and pop right back out. However, in the mid lane, 3 people pressuring down onto this tower. Looks like Heavy's taking a lot of damage and they'll be able to take it out.
Yeah, and Tony just did something very interesting on Rise. He actually tried to go back in and take down the passive of Zac with a quick burst, I believe including his ultimate there, but wasn't able to do so, got caught for it, and ended up going down to Draven. So Draven continuing to pick up these kills even at the expense of the tower there. Not really that worth it, but Draven getting stronger is a very, very bad thing for Lead by Example at this point.
If he actually has the most gold in the game at 8,500, the person behind him would be killing 8,100, so he is leading that by quite a bit. Although we do see that this thing over at the gold counts that Lead by Example is actually winning in for most of the champions are all winning in gold. Like Darius is ahead at 7,000, Elise is only at 6,000, 7,000 on Rise, 6,000 on Oriana, and so on. And it's actually looking pretty well for them, but that might change as this dragon is started up here. Looks like LBX will be going in for the engage. They did have Tony B getting it, and jeez, absolutely melting down Herb Jones as well as Senru, and shutting him down. There comes the dunks coming out from Darius. They weren't able to pick up Tony B, but double kill coming out from Darius. Oh no, triple kill coming out, just absolutely wrecking people with those dunks. Now Tech chasing at the re-ref, throwing off that Pilter for Peacemaker. We'll just go ahead and back off of that team fight, working out so well for LBX.
That was just a great example of what happens when you get everyone caught in the middle of Darius, caught in the middle of the ultimate from Rise, a lot of damage AoE just coming out, the Piltover Peacemakers like that from Caitlyn also offering a bit of AoE damage, and they just melted 3 members of Frontlines just completely simultaneously without them being able to respond. Just cleaned up the fight from there and picked up another dragon, and maybe now looking to pressure that mid lane turret.
And that's a triple kill on Darius, so it's not good at all. 5 kills on both of these Noxian brothers here, Darius and Draven. So obviously these two are gonna have quite the effect in this game. I mean, like, we look at Ken, she has not even picked up a kill, and actually Heavy getting caught out there. Shockwave comes in, the rear up, comes down from the repel, gets the shutdown onto Heavy. Heavy a little bit too far out, but he does end up picking up that Sunfire Cape and also Sarah's Embrace Finish on the Rise.
Yeah, and last game where we saw it sort of go, the Draven got a lead, it was 500, then 1,000, then 1,500, and 2,500. This game, he got a bit of a lead, and now it's even again. So, LBX doing a lot better at responding to that fed Draven than...
Wow, Tony going in, Sentry getting the snare, but Tony's taking a lot of CC damage onto himself. Solarflare went down to the tech, he does use the clubs, but Yaipup goes under the tower with him using the Xenoblade. Tony B, however, able to run out of there and stay alive. And that was a really strange engage. It looks like they wanted to engage, but neither team really wanted to engage, and they just kind of backed off after that.
Yeah, and suddenly Rise comes out of the jungle is always an interesting way for your team fights to start. I was surprised that Tony was able to get out quite as easily as he did. I figured they would try and devote something to get rid of him, but they sort of went on the stuff under tower, and it wasn't really very organized from either side at that point.
Yeah. They sort of had a split focus, like Yaya Puff put down her Solar Flare onto Tech and used the Xenoblade onto Tech, and the rest of the team was trying to get onto Tony. And obviously a lot of the CC that will be coming off is from that Leona, so they lost quite a bit of the CC that they could have put out with her with them just focusing different targets.
Yeah, we see that Lead by Example is actually managed to expand their gold lead to 3,500 at this point, and Janna has managed to pick up an Oracles and start sweeping around Baron, so we might see them try and force that at some point in time in the near future. We haven't really seen either team kind of trying to force that. too much throughout this tournament. They've more been focused around towers and like that, and sort of picking up Baron when there's just generally the opportunity. But I completely lost my train of thought. There we go. I just remembered it. We have seen the Maw of Malmortius picked up by Darius. I'm not entirely certain that upgrading his Hex Drinker this early was that. Well, actually, no. I guess it is double AP now that I actually read. No, that's something not too unexpected now that I think about it more. But Caitlyn has that Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer. Draven has that Bloodthirster Infinity Edge Zeal. So he's going to be putting out a lot more damage right now than Caitlyn is, and it's going to be... We're going to have to see what Caitlyn picks up from here on out. If I would have to make a prediction, we'll probably see Last Whisper. We've seen Tech pick that up, third item, so many times so far that I think it's kind of... I mean, it's sort of completely predictable at this point. So if he picks that up, it's going to be very interesting because he might do more damage to the tankier things on... as we see a catch on Cinder now.
Oh yeah, Cinder is going to be founded by Thor and Tony V, but they're just taking so much damage in response, walking into 4 members of front lines, and they're just going to get melted down after this. Yellow Beast as well as Reba picking up those 2 kills. Yayapop going over the wall, trying to get onto Tex here. It looks like Tex, however, will be okay.
Yeah, Tech, very interesting position there. If Yayapop had managed to get that stun off, that might have ended Caitlyn, but LBX picks up 1 kill for 2 deaths in a 2v4 and picks up a tower up in top lane while everyone's distracted. So very good move by them. They're continuing to run front lines around the map and just take everything while they're not there, basically.
Yeah, now in the mid lane we do see Tech pushing on to this middle tower, really just putting the poke down to Yayapop. And they do have quite a few people actually coming down here. And once again, they have void coverage all over this jungle here, as well as having that Orc's Elixir can just clear out those wards. So really just denying vision in this jungle, and then they're just using that and like staying in there and like, okay, we'll just use this to our advantage and push up these lanes. Even though we're behind in kills, we can still push down these towers. And now they're 5 towers to 3.
Yeah, they have been doing a very good job pressuring just off of that. Another important note, that 2v4, they managed to do enough damage on their way out that they forced everyone back and allowed that mid tower as well. So that was actually very strong for them. Just basically...
Oh, top lane, the standard side hitting onto Heavy. No, Heavy's just absolutely gone. He was getting at that, using his dunk, I think, just to put out the damage. But meanwhile, mid lane, there's even more pushing going on to LBX. And now they'll be in trouble. Yayapop is trying to put on the chase. Solidify comes down, gets a stall to Thor, gets the Zenith Blade onto Thor. But it looks like Thor is going to be running out of there. Traps coming out from Caitlyn. And just seeing this, like, they're trading kills. They're trading deaths. I mean, LBX. They're trading deaths, but they're getting towers. And this is very, very much like Cloud9. I don't know if you've seen Cloud9 before, but yesterday in EPS, they had High, who was playing Kennen. He was pushing down bottom lane tower. Meanwhile, the rest of his team was pushing some other lane. They'd send 2 people to deal with him or 3 people, and then High would die. He would just like stall and he would just die. But then the other team would lose a tower, and they just won the game through that. So it's really smart play. You're trading towers to kills, but in the end, towers are gonna give you more map control. They give you more gold for your team overall. And it's just they're really playing it that way. They're playing the objective game right now, and it's winning them this game.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing it sort of move into a bit of a passive farming phase at this point. We're seeing both teams are going to sort of stop for a little while, go back, buy items and like that. I'm not certain, but I think, yeah, Lead by Example is sitting on a lot of gold right now. Caitlin's sitting on 2,000, Ryze is sitting on 1,700, Janna's even sitting on 1,400 herself. So we're going to see them back at some point in time soon and then try and figure out their next move from there. But they might catch Yayapop out here.
Yeah, there's a soul effect going down, the tornado also coming off, but they cannot really chase on to that. But they're also like taking away all these neutral buffs. They've stolen away the blue buff from front lines quite a few times. They've taken away this red buff just now. They took those dragons away, and once again, there's that ward coverage all over the jungle of front lines.
Yeah, I just want to count the wards really quick over that bottom half of the jungle. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wards just in that bottom half jungle alone. They got a real map pack going on down there. There's not a single inch of that jungle aside from the wolf camp that isn't lit up like a Christmas tree at that point. So really, there's no way for front lines to move around where LBX won't see them, and they really need to start picking up oracles and like that at some point to start counter warding, because they just haven't been doing
And
that.
it is. Well, he picks up the oracles. She'll have a field day if she's able to get to those wards just in time. Actually, it looks like they're all dying out. A few of them are dying out, so may not be able to get to them in time.
But if she does, that oracles will pay for itself within the span of about 2 minutes. But she hasn't popped it yet.
Yeah, she's passing ward in the mid lane. I mean, obviously you're not gonna know where they put these wards, so it looks like she passed right behind the ward. Okay, she goes back and she sees it. Okay. Anyways, they do have, however, once again, they have Tony B pushing down that bottom lane, and they're sending Draven to take care of that. Draven being the most fed on the side of front lines. I'm not too sure whether I like this or not, because it does leave LBX to decide to force something, and looks like they will force this Baron.
Yeah, on one hand it is Draven committed, on the other hand it's also Ryze committed, and Ryze is fairly strong for lead by example right now, so this fight might be a bit more even than that. Caitlyn, however...
wards. Oh man, they just like shoving wards in there, and it's really stopping Heavy from putting off too much damage onto this Baron, but it is going down. It looks like Yellowbee's going to be going in with the Elastic Legion. No, you will not be able to smite steal it, but is able to put up a lot of damage onto the team of LBX here. Tony B getting the teleport on into his center, just getting blasted down. Death Charge coming up, knocks him up. He's taking out Tech, picking up the kill. And now Thor is going to be going, and he's taking up so much Heavy. Same thing too. He gets the dunk out, shuts down, re-rub. Yaya Puff is the only one left alive. Not going to be able to do anything. And that's a 2 for 5 ace for LBX. Flash coming in from Thor. And they're just going to be able to push down an inhibitor most likely from this.
Yeah, and that was just brilliant timing on the teleport from Tony there, coming in right when they needed him, taking out Senru pretty much immediately. And again, great positioning by Tech, avoiding pretty much everything for that entire fight and just standing where he needed to. Not taking much damage. They really didn't go for him that much, however, and they need to start considering him as a bit more of a threat at this point.
Yeah, he just... Oh my gosh, he just got right on top of them, just completely... Like, Senru got in... Like, Senru just got bursted on right when Tony B got in there, and now that's going to be an inhibitor down. There's also the Baron that came in there. You know, they had something like, there's a really nice attempt coming out of front lines. You know, they sent Zac and they've had the shockwave come out onto him, but they just weren't able to lock down enough people. I mean, they didn't lock down enough people, which at the point where they could just burst down really quickly. Tony B teleporting in obviously makes him come into the fight later, and they're like, oh no, now I have to focus down on Ryze, and he just exploded Senru, and it's just not going well at all now. I mean, we saw early game advantage coming out for front lines, but you know, LBX is playing for those objectives, and now they're starting to win out the team fights.
Yeah, they've hit a 10,000 gold advantage as well, just looking at that, and just the item differential is pretty much, no doubt, as somewhat we've seen every game. Tech has picked up that Last Whisper third, but Draven does not yet have that armor penetration, so he has a bit of a hard time dealing with the Darius, who has the Randuin's Omen, has the Sunfire Cape, has a bit of problems dealing with the Nautilus, who has the Warden's Mail, has a bit of problems even dealing with the Ryze that has the Frozen Heart at this point, so it's hard for him to actually take down targets. Even though he has so much raw attack damage, he doesn't have the penetration to back it up, as we see Command Shockwave miss.
What? Okay. Well, there's a Command Shockwave. I don't think, like... Oh, actually, top lane, Senru destroyed by Tony B. Wow. Wow. Tony B, just that split pushing guy right now. This is seriously a Cloud9 strat, except instead of the split pusher dying, it's the split pusher killing people. And now Rebuff has to run away from these guys, and just not looking good at all for front lines anymore.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to be hard for them to defend anything. We see Thor's going to take that bottom tower. It looks like they're going to be able to take this top inhibitor tower as well. Draven's still down for another 30 seconds, so I don't feel they're going to be able to defend this at all, as they do get some hate down onto Yaya Puff.
Yeah, and they're just kind of putting up the damage here. Herb Jones getting blasted down solo. Tony B flashes and then picks up the kill onto Herb Jones. Now Yellow Beast has the best mount going. Meanwhile, Top Heavy was able to pick off Yaya Pup. Rurup is going to be going down now. Or eventually, when he drops down, it will be going out. The Decimate coming off of Top Heavy there. And now, actually, the Surrender Vote coming in here. So now, the second game of this best of 5 being picked up by Lead by Example. If they win this third game, they will be able to go on to the second best of 5. And this is looking really good for them in the finals so far.
It is looking really good for them, and it is looking like it is going to continue to be a very long day. So we're going to have at least one more game, and if Lead by Example takes this one out, we'll see at least 3 more games after that. I mean, Lead by Example is looking very strong right now.
Maybe what will happen is that Frontline's gonna be able to win the next 3 games. No. Yeah, it's gonna go. No. Maybe it's gonna go. This set goes on to 5 games, and the next set goes on to 5 games. And then we can get to cast 10 games. Wouldn't that be great?
I'm
So
so
great,
glad I
it?
took this weekend off.
I know. Oh my gosh, just casting 10 games for one of the same 2 teams. That just sounds so fun. Anyways, enough of that. We will be going on to a very quick break as we get into the lobbies and whatnot. People are almost joined up, so everybody stay tuned. Okay, welcome back everybody to the League of Legends Rising Stars Series Season 2 tournament, and these are the finals between Frontline and Lead by Example into the third game here. This is a best of 5, so if Lead by Example is able to win this game, they will have to progress on and win another best of 5. If Frontline wins this game, they will have to win 3 more games after this to win the series. That way they can go on to the other best of 5 and win that best of 5. So things are looking kind of good for Frontlines. No, for Lead by Example so far with the two wins under their belt. We are into these picks and bans.
Yeah, we do see the Rise ban coming out as well as a Darius ban onto Lead by Example. So Frontlines have sort of dropped their idea of before they were sort of banning out stuff that they were afraid of from other games. This time they're banning out stuff that they've dealt with in this match specifically and are trying to get rid of that because they've had problems with that Rise, they've had problems with that Darius, and they just left Diana open. I would be very surprised if Lead by Example doesn't pick it up. Kha'Zix, Lux, and Janna pretty much targeted bans over onto Frontline. We've sort of been over those before, each targeted to the respective player on the other side. So we are seeing a Tryndamere lock-in now from Lead by
Yep.
Example.
Yeah, that is really interesting. I guess we'll see if he goes for the jungle Tryndamere or the lane Tryndamere. Lane Tryndamere is incredibly annoying to lane against. Also, this Morgana being picked up here, so this is really interesting. These are champions that have not been played before. And this is just really, I mean, like, these are champions we haven't seen in a long time. Like, Morgana used to be popular, not anymore. Anyways, his next few picks are going to be Morgana as well as Misfortune as well as Nocturne.
Yeah, Misfortune Nocturne, Misfortune on Sinryu, that's been one of his
Oh my god, what is going on?
champions.
They just picked up Kale and Yorick. And these are a lot of champions that are really annoying to lane against, but I'm really not too sure what they're planning to do here.
I am not sure, but it sounds all kinds of wrong and great at the same time. So, really, at this point, I mean, this may be one of the most interesting games we've seen throughout the tournament. And I was sort of starting to run out of things to talk about. I don't think I'll have that problem this game. We haven't seen a singed pickup from Frontlines, just sort of to get a bit back on track after we've been a bit blinded by the sort of flashy offbeat picks from Lead by Example. The
Oh my
singed
god,
pick, I don't
what's
believe we've
going
seen.
on? I
Are,
don't even. I'm sorry, I'm just interrupting you. Like, what is going? If they lock in this Fiddlesticks and this Fizz, that is going to be a support Fiddlesticks, and that's a devastating bottom lane as well as Fizz. Just that AoE knock. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but these picks are just like making my head spin right now. This last pick is going to be Anivia for LBX, and this is certainly going to be a very interesting game to say the least.
yeah, I think probably the most interesting part of this champ select for me is that I'm on delay because of the stream, so I'm hearing you reacting to all these. I'm like, what did they pick this time? What could they
Oh my
possibly have grabbed that's eliciting this reaction? I have no clue what to expect from this. I feel like logic has been a bit thrown out the window. So we'll see what happens. It is going to be the amazing 9 on apparently support Anivia, sort of. We will see the jungle Tryndamere. We will see top lane Yorick. We will see AD carry Kale, I guess. And then on
There's,
the other side, we'll
I
see.
mean, there's no way they're gonna try to go for standing lanes. Like, there's no way they can they can attempt standing lanes. There's no way. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know them to make sense. I mean, a lot of these champions are really annoying to lane against. Mainly being your KL Chinamera. Chinamera is in the jungle, but like Anivia and Morgana, that is. Oh my god, I don't even know. I don't. I'm really interested to see like if they have like is this like a something they want to lane with, or is this something they want to like travel as 5 and pick people off? Like, I'm really interested to see like if they go like a tri lane or something. I have absolutely no idea what they're doing here.
Well, I mean, clearly it has to be the support Nivea. I mean, it's clearly the best counter to that Fiddlesticks. You max wall first, and then the fear random doesn't matter because you just drop the wall where you don't want your guy to walk. So, at the end of the day, that's clearly has to be what it is at this point. They're just trying to counter that very strong support Fiddlesticks pick that we haven't seen so far. That's about the only. That's as far as my insane troll logic has gotten with this team comp. So it doesn't make sense, but it will probably work in hilarious fashion. The one thing that is worth noting, they have Kale ult, they have a Nivea passive, they have Yorick ult, they have Tryndamere ult. They're going to live for a very long time at any given point in time. The only one who has a bit more trouble with that is Morgana, and it's Morgana. She just sort of rushes Hourglass. So these fights that we're going to see are going to last a very long time. These lanes that we're going to see are not going to last a very long time. So enjoy what appears to be a Kale and Nivea lane while it lasts, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh! Oh, I just okay. Tryndamere ultimate, Kale ultimate, York ultimate, and Nivea egg. That's like undying, right there. Like the team of undying people. I'm not sure if you were actually saying this. Were you saying this when I
I
said
was
this?
just saying that 10 seconds ago, but it's fine. I think this come out
Oh, it's the
really.
team. Oh, it kind of just hit me, but it's like that's the team of undying people, and they should. I think they should all just go Guardians, Angels, and Zanya's Hourglasses and just never die, and that's how they're gonna win. Although I believe Morgana is kind of like the out and out. I don't see why like they could have picked a Zillion. That would have worked. That would have worked very well. Or Mordekaiser. Oh, I don't.
I don't
No,
know.
no,
I don't think this. I don't think this comp lands within the realm of standard logic at this point. So I think it's
definitely
almost a bit
not.
futile trying to
Oh,
figure
I
out.
mean, let's go talk about front lines because even though they have a more standard comp, but it's still a few champions we haven't seen too much today, like the support Fiddlesticks. We're having the Fizz being picked up as well as the Singed. So that's really interesting to come out here. I really like Fiddlesticks with Misfortune. Obviously, like their ultimates are gonna have a lot of synergy, as well as Fizz. Fizz is just so fun to see because you're gonna be jumping around. You can negate damage. You can throw off that shark, and it's gonna be like boom, just knock people up, and it's gonna be great. And then the Sin should just be that tanky, annoying person. But I don't know. I mean, like this, like what Frontlines is planning to do could just all go out the window with what LBX is planning to do here.
But the sort of missing point here that I just noticed that I'm not sure if you have is that there either was a trade bug or Frontlines is actually swapped positions. We're seeing Sinro on that Fizz and Herf Jones on the Misfortune this game as opposed to
I mean,
what we
definitely not
expect.
a swap
So
bug, 'cause letting it go through. So they are doing this lane swap here, and that does leave some options open. Maybe it's like, well, we think that Herf Jones is a better Misfortune than Cinderu is, or maybe like Cinderu is really good at Fizz, and Herf Jones can just play Misfortune. I don't know. Maybe it's probably something that they have thought out, because obviously we didn't go into a remake or anything after that.
yeah, I feel it is. It's definitely that second way around. Sinro is probably a strong Fizz if it is on that line because he did play Misfortune in a game, I believe. There's a second round match yesterday. I don't recall who that was against, but they won that game. He went 5-0-6 on Misfortune. So Misfortune, he can play Misfortune appropriately. Herf Jones, probably not. Hidden Misfortune savant, but we could be wrong.
Well, starting items are as standard as it could be, I guess, for these teams. I'm not sure where the order my champions in the center box. It's like, well, I guess the Nivea could be going bottom lane with KO, but it's not for certain. At least Tryndamere is going in the jungle, so I don't have to worry too much about that. But we are seeing the definite invade coming out of LBX here. They are all piling into this rush, going through the lane. No one's going to be seeing them. And I guess we'll see how effective this happens, or how effective this is. Looks like Rewef is walking around. We'll see if he decides to put a ward out or not, but ooh. Oh, Tony B's going to be leading the charge. You're going to be walking right to Rewef. Rewef has no idea the snare goes out. The sun is not going to hit onto him, but this should be enough to take him down. I mean, there's 5 people. Rewef's trying to get out of here. There's no way. There's no way. Yep, he will be going down. York able to pick that one up, having to use his Ignite there. 2 Ignites being used there, but I mean, it's First Blood. So they can go ahead and get out of there, be happy with their lives, and they've taken out that early advantage.
Yeah, we have seen first blood onto the Yorick in that invade with the. I think Anivia actually missed her stun in that.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah,
little
she
bit
missed her
too far
stun.
behind. So they didn't
Yeah.
really need to burn that second ignite that top heavy
Yeah.
ended up burning for it to secure the kill. So a bit of a misplay there from Anivia had she thrown the flash frost off in the right direction, sort of. She got a bit too far off. She would have been able to pick up that kill without having to burn that second ignite. So a little bit of a misplay there, but they still managed to pick up that first blood on that invade.
Well, you were completely right with where the lanes are going. We are seeing this Anivia going down bottom with this Kale. And I'm not too sure if they were seen out by those minions, but this is like a level 5 strategy where you sit in this brush and then you just destroy whoever walks in there first. And it looks like they are very, very surely going to be committing to this as they are staying in here in this brush, just waiting. And it looks like Herb Jones is going to be the victim of this. It all depends if they are able to get the stuff. Oh, no, it's not going to get off. There's no way they're going to be able to get the kill off of that. So very
Yeah,
unfortunate. That's the second stun throw out by the Amazing Nine. Not going to be able to get it off. And we'll be seeing how Herb Jones fares with the AD carry role.
yeah, I'm still a bit at a loss for words as how to describe what just happened. I think the best way I can describe it is level 18 or so strats. But, I mean, really at this
Oh
point,
my, that Dark Wind. That Dark Wind just like completely took down that Kale. And this is gonna be an issue here with how like low range like Kale until she has to E now, but she's still very very short range. And you know there's double up coming up from Misfortune. Felix has the Dark Wind and can just poke them out. So this lane is not gonna go too well, I don't think.
see, had they been able to predict the Kale Anivia lane, they probably could have picked something better against it than Misfortune Fiddlesticks. Not to say that it's weak or anything, but probably could have picked like a Caitlyn or something like that who just right clicks on Kale every time she goes to
Yeah.
the last hit and basically made their lives complete misery. But I
Well,
feel like at this point LBX is sort of won games 1 and 2 and they're sort of trying out something that they wouldn't have run otherwise. But
yeah.
we'll see how it works out for him. I mean, there could be some crazy thought to this, some sort of insane way this works that we just haven't seen yet to tie it all together, and I think we're gonna have to wait until a bit later in the game to figure that out.
I think we're gonna have to wait until they hit level 6 because we've been over how their ultimates can make them just stay alive or make someone else just stay alive. And I guess that's what they're really just gonna go for. I'm guessing. I mean, obviously, like these lanes are just not gonna work out at all in their favor. Maybe York up top lane will work out. Maybe Morgana in the middle, but for sure this bottom lane is gonna work out. And the problem is when they get into fights, that Fiddlesticks Misfortune is gonna absolutely wreck face with the amount of AOE coming out. So I guess I really feel like we have to wait till team fight to see how this is gonna fare because I don't see the laning phase or early game really going that well. Like it won't be amazing.
I definitely
And
agree.
as we see this in
yeah.
bottom lane, just the damage.
They do manage to get quite a bit of harassment down onto Amazing 9. Don't pick up the kill on him at this point. He does have egg anyways, so I doubt they would have done so, but just already out CSing him 3-1 at the 5-minute mark is a
But
bit scary.
they are sending two people down bottom lane. We're having Dory come in the front. There's a wall going off right onto Herf Jones. They're barely being used, but Tony B coming around the back. Dark Bite is going to land onto Herf Jones. They're going to be able to pick up this kill. It will be going over to Tony B. They're chasing after Yaya Puff. They let her go because they do not want to dive into that tower, but there we go. The double gain coming out for those guys. Very good at team coordination, and I guess they know what they're doing here better than we do. Well, obviously they would because they picked it out.
Yes, our minds are not prepared to understand their logic in this game. We
Nope.
will find out at some point in time. We will learn the ways of the Tripping Morgana.
Kale. Morgana, Chinevere, Kale, York, Olivia. I, okay. I don't even know what they're. This is just so ridiculous, really. So we're having Navy go back, and we also have a tier of guys picked up on New York. Pretty standard for him. Morgana having picked up the the second kill for her team. Does have 1,600 gold to spend. I think you were saying in Champions Select how she would most likely be picking up the That one
Zani's
on her face. Zani's
Hourglass very
Hourglass.
early,
Yeah, there you
yes.
go.
That just gives her the ability to ult and not die for it, pretty much. Generally, Morgana, you want to be in the middle of them because you want to be able to get that ult on as many people as possible. And Zani's Hourglass, of course, very helpful in that because you go in, you ult. It doesn't interrupt the channel on the procs to hit it, as we do see a gank come.
Oh, mid lane there. The Fizz Shark is going to be the only on that. It's going to be a dead Tony B. He has 0 wards at all. But, you know, he does get a free ride back. We'll see what he decides to pick up.
Yeah, I mean,
Also
really,
for Nivea, I really like the Mana Manipulator. Sorry, but I really like the Mana Manipulator on her just to help out with Mana Regen. Okay, go on.
this is clearly the ARAM strat of just wait until you die to go back at this point. And it really makes sense with this team comp.
No, you go in and then you execute yourself at the tower, and it's like, hey, free trip back.
Nah, executing yourself is for boring people. You have to just be a man, go in and die valiantly for the cause. But
You know, because it's giving the enemy team more, like, then the enemy team is worth more. So when you kill them, you get more gold.
exactly.
It's the feed to win strategy.
Yeah, I'm not certain we're going to see too many of the Silsoul strats in this game, but we are seeing a bit of a farm advantage being picked up for Singed in the top lane at this point, sort of speaking of Silsoul. 7
Same thing
CS at
bot
this
lane.
point? Yeah. Bot lane is a lot stronger, but in mid lane it's the opposite story, and that's just kind of the wave W on a creep, wave, walk away, rinse, lather, repeat. It's very... I don't want to say boring, because that's not the term, but it's very...
Easy. You just farm. All you do is farm with Morgana. And she's going to be picking up so much more CS. And no matter how many times she gets ganked in the middle, I think she'll be fine because she can just farm.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't even really need to be in too much of a position where she can really get ganked that easily. I mean, you just drop W and kind of walk away. You have to be up there a little bit, but you don't have to be right in it. So it's very easy to get out like that, as we are seeing Thor now coming into the top lane to try and get something onto Reruff.
Yep, there's a ghost coming out though, so Reruff slowly going to be ghosting away, but once again, another gank out onto this middle lane. The Shark did not hit, but the Paranoia did. Flash away from Tony V, but the Ignite is able to pick him up. So that's going to be another kill going over to the side of Senru, and he could potentially go out for roaming now.
Yeah, he is 2-0, has already picked up that Sheen, so he has quite a bit of power behind his attacks at this point, just because that works so well on Fizz with the... He gives him a lot of bursts to back up his poison as well. So at this point, things looking pretty well for front lines, but we kind of predicted this as being they won't really win this laning. I feel like if they're going to win this, they're going to win this in a team fight, and I feel like if they're going to win this in a team fight, that's going to be a while down the road. So I believe what Lead by Example is going to have to be looking to do is just survive as long as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, sort of be effective. And oh yeah, and Nivea Ice Wall trapping at Thor. Okay, so... Oh wow, actually Tony wasn't even able to get that blue buff there. Well, that's unfortunate. Thor, however, looks like is coming down the bottom lane. Will be passing through a ward. Nerf Jones knows to go back. And... Oh man, I'm just... How do you imagine team fights coming off here? Like, will it be an engage coming off from LBX or the engage by front lines?
How do I imagine team fights coming off here? With great difficulty. That's about the only way I can say is we are...
Thor is in trouble. Trying to steal these golems. Gonna use the Spring Slash into a wall. He's gonna be meeting up with Tony B, throwing off that snare there to stop the pursuit. So looks like Tony B getting, or Thor getting out of there. Pretty low health, but I don't know. He's Trinimir. He just walks out.
Yeah, he did burn Undying Rage in that as well, so he burned both his Ghost and his ultimate for that escape out of that jungle. So that's gotta hurt him for a little while as well. We're just still seeing farming in top lane, which is very odd to see, considering how aggressive top heavy's been through most of this tournament. This has to be very odd for him. But now we're seeing a bit of aggression come out from the Singed.
Yeah, he popped the Insanity Potion, trying to chase out the top heavy right here. I mean, of course, that the potion just increases had so much in top heavy. He's for sure gonna go down here. But I'm surprised he didn't even use his ultimate on himself to try to go turn around. Like, he still had Ignite up, but he just tried to flash away. So it does look like Thor is not going to be able to get up there. He was going through a ward.
Yeah, it also was a little bit of a misplay by Top Heavy there because he flashed away while he had the Singe Poison on him. At that point, it was inevitable he was going to die. It was sort of a panic flash, and he basically
Yeah.
just wasted his flash there.
Yeah, once again, I'm really like surprised he didn't try to turn it around with his ultimate. It's definitely something that was within his reach, I think. I mean, he had Ignite Up and everything. So, however, that is going to be the kill going over to Re-Ruff. He now has the Callus of the Protector as well as the Tear of the Goddess. So just going for that massive mana on himself, as well as some tankiness mixed in there. What do you think of that build for him?
I think it's build for the Singed or for the...
Yeah, Singed.
I think it's fine. I think it's a very heavy investment in the future. We said this about Kassadin as well in one game, but anytime you go like tier Catalyst, you're planning on being strong, not necessarily then, but being strong 10, 20 minutes down the road. It's a very heavy investment for the future. I think it worked in this case for the Singed. I feel like he's not really having any trouble against that Yorick at this point, and I feel like he's not going to be leaving anytime soon out of that top lane. So... really, at the end of the day, it's perfectly fine for him. He does get more health off of mana, off of his passive, so he is getting a little bit tankier. I know it's really not much, but he's getting a tiny bit tankier each time he stacks that Tear of the Goddess. I know it's probably like 1 health for every 4 mana or something like that, so he's only getting 1 health with every stack, but that adds up when you have 100 stacks.
2.5 health for each 10 mana, so that's... Well, he has 383 bonus health just from having that Tear and that Catalyst, so that's definitely working out for him. And in the long run, obviously, as you were saying, it's going to get so much stronger and even more tanky. Looks like down bottom lane, Thor tried to come in here, however the exhaust came out and that prevented too much from happening. I believe Nocturne was also, Yellow Base is also around there. So a little bit low on the action coming up. We do have Thor still down his bottom lane, seeing what he can do. Does have 2 assists to his name. He's also building up with that attack speed Trinity build, of course. Really wants to get those heals in with those auto attack crits. Although it looks like Sinru is actually coming down here, and the LBX crew just goes ahead and makes a very hasty departure.
Yeah, he wanted to make something happen, but they knew what was up and backed off of it. We aren't seeing that same level of ward coverage from LBX that we've seen in past games, so that's one important thing to note. They don't have as much control at this point over the map as they have previously. Morgana is continuing to farm, but she really isn't gaining anything in that farm lead. She's been steady at about 10 over Fizz for quite some time, but in bot lane the farm gap is widening for Misfortune, so things are going to get...
Paranoia onto middle lane. The Shark was actually a Earth, but it's not going to be able to hit onto Morgana. She'll be able to live, not even taking that much damage. So that's an ulti down for 2 champions. Not really able to do anything, although the flash was used by Morgana, so I guess that is down for them.
Yeah,
but
that's...
pretty much looks like Trinity Mirror is around on just doing waste. No, actually Morgana Trinity's one around onto Fizz, lands a Dark Binding, keeping him inside the pool and puts down the ultimate, picking that one up. Great turnaround from her.
Yeah, he blew his Playful Trickster too early, and she just landed the snare right after, knew that he wasn't able to jump away from the the Soul Shackles off. Soul Shackles, yes. The ultimate off of him, and just was able to pick up the kill fairly easily. And that's going to be a dragon for lead by example, and that's going to sort of shore them up and actually put them into a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, that is going to be them picking up about a 400 gold lead. And actually going down onto this bottom lane for Herf Jones here. Going to be going under the tower for this one. Trying to chase after the goes. Actually being popped. Does get the slow off with the auto attack. Yaya Puff is around. You know, can throw off her own abilities. Also looks like Yellow Beast is coming in here to see what he can do. Wall coming off though. So nice wall coming off from the Amazing Nine to stop them.
Yeah, I believe he's actually maxing that because that's a very large wall for a very sort of low level in Nivea at this point. So he has been maxing that first. I find that all kinds of hilarious in its own way, but
Does that scale with like the size scales with it when it levels?
It does. At level 1, it's this short little stub of a wall, and then it turns into that big grand wall that you see in actual fights, as they are going on to Kale at this point a little bit.
Well, I learn something new every day. I did not know that at all. And that's actually kind of bad because I've been playing League for like the past 2 years. So it looks like Reref up at top lane going past the minion wave. Looks like Thor as well as Javi are up here. Thor gonna be putting out the slow. Reref gonna be popping Insanity Potion. Just runs out of there. I mean, he's Cinch. He doesn't care. He just runs out. He's tanky enough and fast enough.
Yeah, unfortunately for Tryndamere's Singe does not care about his chickens quite enough. So, really, Morgana gonna get ulted by Fizz and walk away. Singe gonna roam towards mid, and something hilarious is about to happen, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, Thor is gonna be surrounded by quite a few people. Snare comes out, Sing Slash over the wall. Not that hilarious. They just go ahead, disengage.
I'm disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed, but we
I
are
mean,
gonna
both
see...
teams. I feel like both teams are just like playing a passive. I would understand Frontlines like they're like we have no idea what we by example is planning to do here. So like they're kind of playing it back a little bit, and then I don't know. Maybe this is just like the part of the plan for LBX to play passive.
Yeah, and it's almost nerve-wracking to see because I'm so used to watching them so far this tournament being aggressive, and then they have this game where they're being really passive, and
they're just laughing at you and be like, "Where is your research now? It's just useless to their strategy."
I spent 4.5 hours on you people.
Oh man, this is just. I don't know. I'm really hoping something like explodes out in team fight. It's like something amazing and crazy, but we'll see. There's a cooldown boots coming off for Kale. It's pretty much standard builds coming off from Kale. She's going like the hybridish route with that Nash's Tooth. Gotta get that DPS in there. Looks like a possible very fast, what is that? Kale's Crucible coming off in mid lane. Once again, another gang from Nocturne really putting down the hurt onto Tony B in the mid. Another kill coming off for Sinru.
Yeah, Sinru's doing work on that Fizz. I'm not even certain if it might just be Tony's been being a bit more aggressive than he should be at times.
It's also been Yellow Beast like ganking every few seconds. But
it has
like,
nothing to do with the camping, clearly.
Yeah.
It's all down to skill. But really, the top heavy getting flung apparently slightly forward there. I don't actually understand how that happened. It did appear that the fling went off and he just sort of moved forward a little.
He is secretly inverted composer. Top heavy is just taking the poison damage. It's not going well for him at all. Blade Rune King finished up on... Wow, Blade Rune King rush on Nocturne. That is surprising. He wants to go really aggressive.
He does want to go really aggressive. I'm not entirely certain that pays off for them. He wants to go really aggressive onto a team that has a Tryndamere, has a Kale, has a Nivea, has a Yorick. I mean, if an actual fight breaks out, he goes really aggressive, blows something up, and then it's still alive afterwards, and that's...
Two people going up top lane for Rebuff, ignites down Thor, spinning slash, picks up the kill. Rebuff a little bit too low of health, and a little bit too far out for that. Although it does look like people are poisoning up around this dragon area. It is going to be... Oh, hold on. Wait, actually flashing the ultimate. Not going to be hitting onto anybody that fizzles in. However, it does hit. I think we're going on to Toby here. He's certainly going down. Ultimate comes out from Yaya Puff. He's going to get walled out. That is a massive wall. Oh my gosh.
Well, he did get the flash ultimate down. Unfortunately, got a flash ultimate down onto a Fizz that had his E up to just jump away. So, wasn't able to actually do anything there, and then they turned around and just kind of killed him. So, really unfortunate there. A bit too... a bit optimistic there going for that. I feel that was a bit... Yeah, there wasn't really much hope for anything there, I think. But at least they tried.
Yeah, at least they tried. So, Bloodthirster now, for Misfortune. She probably has a little bit more gold to spend, 1200 to be exact. Also, we have Fizz. Finish up that Lich Bane. Good and be able to do a nice chunk of damage to the enemies now. And, wow, look at the CS. 165 on Misfortune and 109 on Kale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you're mind was having a hard time saying it. Don't want to believe, but you have to believe in this game at this point.
This game is just what's going on. It also looks like Misfortune going for possibly an early Last Whisperer, potentially. I'm not. You can't be too sure.
That wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not certain it's that.
She should just go for that one build where people like when Black Cleaver came out, like the new Black Cleaver, and everyone built Black Cleaver on Misfortune because like it procs the Black Cleaver thingies. It just does massive damage, but I guess something got unpopular. So anyways, they are seeing lots of people around this dragon area, and it looks like they might be sandwiching people in, or maybe just see people getting caught off as the wall comes out, but Nashvin does not care for the walls. It goes straight onto the Amazing Knight. There's an intervention coming off. There's Anivia. She's going to be getting into the A form. Can't throw get in time here to help her out. Nope, Herb Jones picks up the kill onto the Amazing Knight, but now they're taking something around. Thor going in with his ultimate, taking down Yellow Beast. There's the ultimate coming off from Morgana. They have to flash out that Yaya Puff getting caught in the dark binding. Tech picks up the kill. That's going to be a 1-for-2 trade there. And there's a Bolton coming across to clear out those minions. And it looks like LBX might just stick around a little bit. And BDC Tech going back.
Yeah, they did manage to get 2 for 1 there. So a very good trade for them, and it's sort of making sense somewhat of what they're doing now. They did get a lot of stuff out there that just got eaten up by Kale's ultimate. We saw Fizz's ultimate go down, didn't do a thing because Kale's ultimate was dropped immediately. It took a lot of stuff to kill Amazing 9 on Nivea, so... And, I mean, after that, they had nothing left to fight once Thor and Tech showed up to... Thor and Tony showed up to help fight that, so, I mean... It's going to be hard for them to kill anything past a certain point, and I think that's probably where this composition is kind of designed, around the idea of just never dying, and around the idea of fighting like that, getting as much stuff baited out as possible, taking care of it through making sure the person doesn't die, and then re-engaging afterwards and winning the fight.
Mid lane junglers having around. These junglers have just been so active in the mid lane, mainly Yellow Beast. He's been ganking just non-stop in the ton of B, and you know why not? You really want to get that Sindhu on Fizz going, and looks like Thor getting dropped. Meanwhile, down bottom lane, wall being dropped. Amazing Nun has the kill to an onto her, and Carol able to shred down Misfortune just a bit, but Misfortune does have that Bloodthirster to heal up. We also see Kale going for the Nuclear Gerard, so what do you think she's trying to build out of that?
AP.
Well, okay.
I
Thank you
don't.
for your detailed answer.
You're welcome. I didn't research bot lane Kale builds.
Well, okay. So I guess the two main options would be okay. Her two main options would be going either Radman Zedcap for straight AP, or going for that Xana's Hourglass, which would kind of fit into her team. Also, we're seeing Xana's Hourglass going to be coming soon to theaters on Morgana here. Has the two components for Xana's Hourglass. Have a top lane for Noe coming in here onto top heavy. He has popped his ultimate, trying to do the damage. It's actually going to be flashing away. He will be taken out. Going to get the revive, but there's no one really low for him to get on top of. Actually, potentially Yellow Base. Wow, the Mirror Mana practicing lots of damage as well as the Spear. The Yellow Lizard, he might be able to pick up the kill, but the Fear coming off, and no. So I think if you can't commit to that at the beginning and instead of trying to run away, you probably would have been able to trade a 1-for-1 up there. But anyways, this dragon is going to be coming down. Bullet time knocking me to steal. Now they're going to be going on to Sinru. They're going to be chasing Atsu, and Yaya Puff is here. There's the shield going off and the snare going down. Harry Jones getting picked up. Now they're still chasing after Sinru here. He is super low. He is for sure going to be going down. Thor picking up that kill. Intervention went on top of him to make sure he doesn't die. But no, he still goes down to the dot damage. And that's going to be 2 for 2 overall.
Oh, that was really unfortunate. I thought he was going to live, and he comes out of the Kale ult, and the last tick gets him. That was really afraid to see. But just kind of going back from that, breaking the action to the note on the Neasley Large Rod, I feel like Sonya's Hourglass is probably the likely option. So naturally, with this team comp, I'm going to choose to believe that she's going for a Deathfire Grasp.
Okay, but she's going back. And she's actually picking the blasting one, so both of us are wrong. She's going for that Rabbids death cap, I'm gonna assume at least. Going for that heavy damage. However, to be sure, we'll see Morgana going with that Seeker's Arm Guard. I mean, at least I hope she is. I don't know what she'd do with that Seeker's Arm Guard. If she wasn't going for Zanya's. Okay, so anyways, Nicole's going up 8-8. It's extremely even. There's about 3,000 difference in goalie. That would be because Towers and Dragons. Which, of course, LBX still staying true to the fact that they love going for those objectives. They just haven't really gotten the early game down.
Yeah, well, I'm not entirely certain this composition is really doing him any favors on the early game in this case.
Yeah, and oh, on the mid lane, oh my gosh, you might be able to survive. No, the bleed comes in, picks up the kill. Paranoia comes out from notching onto the amazing night. He flashes through the wall to get out of that free attendant gun, and now picks up the Zanya's eyeglass. Maybe we'll be able to survive through the dot that comes out of Fizz.
Yeah, that will be a bit of a help if someone is nearby to peel him off afterwards, but if he's just sort of in there and Hourglass is by himself, and Fizz is just going to stand there and wait for him to come out of it and say, okay, I'm going to poke you in the face with my trident now. But Reruff getting ignited here.
Yeah, top lane Yellow Beast getting on his Heavy. And Heavy's gonna be going down. Yellow Beast has just been so active. 2-1-5. He's been doing work.
Yeah, on the other hand, Thoron Tryndamere also been fairly active, 3-1-4, so we might see a targeted Tryndamere band in the future.
I guess. We do see lots of people pushing out onto this bottom lane tower. It is the last outer tower. You know, they're like, even with this crazy comp, they still want to get these objectives. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta try something completely off the wall and just kind of hope it works to an extent, but I don't know. I think
we're gonna get a Spirit in. He has a life chain going on to him. Intervention is used on top of him. The Earth ultimate is used. The Navi ultimate is used there. There's the Crossroad coming up from Phil's able to pick up the kill on the Thor. Stun going up onto Reruff. He was able to get in there. And it looks like Tony B will be going down for a 2-for-0 trade in favor of front lines, and this is not looking good for lead by example at all. I don't think this comp is exactly working out the way they wanted it to.
I think it's working out for them the way they wanted it to now. It might work out for them the way they want it to in another 5 minutes. The question is, how long can we keep waiting for this composition to work?
Yeah, Paranoia coming up from Nocturne, but just goes ahead and backs off.
Yeah, I mean, there's maybe a theoretical point in which lead by examples comp works the way we think it's supposed to work, but they just haven't hit that yet, and I'm not certain when they will hit that point from here on out. You know, Kale is fairly, I mean, I wouldn't say underfarmed, but compared to Misfortune, obviously underfarmed. They also lack a true, well, actually, they don't really lack a true AD carry. Their true AD carry is going to be that Tryndamere, yeah. So,
yeah. Top lane, yay! Tower's going down. Now it's even in towers. Minions picked it up, but back to Tryndamere. And actually, the goalie's now in favor of our front lines. And nope, now they're chasing on the Heavy, and Heavy is incredibly squishy. Well, certainly, definitely, and does go down there.
Yeah, I feel like top Heavy keeps getting a bit caught out here and punished for it, and that's really hurting lead by example at the moment. I know Tony's died a lot. A lot of that was in lane. And Amazing 9 might die to blue buff trying to solo it. Yeah.
Almost did, but Kale was around. Kale actually put level 5 on the heal, and as well as on the Reckoning before she went for Righteous Fury, which is pretty interesting, although I guess you want to get more of the utility coming out for her instead of the damage.
Yeah, lead by example's comp is all utility and Tryndamere, so I don't really know. It does get that hat now. Going to be doing a lot of damage, but I don't know. I'm still trying to process in my mind the fact that we saw the Kale and Nivea bot lane. I haven't gotten past that yet, so you'll have to forgive my lack of insight into this particular matchup.
And it's just been like small skirmishes, like hardly any big team fights. Actually, maybe one right now is Yaya Pup. It gets absolutely obliterated. There is the shark coming off, however, Intervention came out onto Anivia. Now they're chasing after this. Siru is the main focus, and looks like we'll be going down top heavy able to pick up that kill. And the double kill going off, actually able to pick up Yellow Beast, so that actually went into their favor. They were able to catch out Yaya Puff really early, and then they put down the Shark, but then they had an intervention going off on that Shark, so didn't really do too much. And now they're actually going to be pushing up, and the bullet time completely destroys the minions, but they do not care, and they're going to keep on going. Meanwhile, Thor just wants to go under this base. Barrier is popped, and they're still going to keep going for this tower. They do have quite the nice tower wrecking crew with Shindomir and Kale. However, it looks like they won't be able to get it quite yet. They cannot take that many tower shots with a Singe heading towards them.
Yeah, Singe had been split pushing up in the top lane before that fight happened, but only managed to get about 400 damage down onto that turret, so it wasn't really worth it, that split push, because they lost that mid tower, and I believe they actually got a bit of damage onto that mid inhibitor turret. Did manage to take that down to about 900 health, so they should be able to force that fairly easily if they get another good pick like that, where they manage to just blow up Yaya Puff, essentially.
Yeah, and now the gold lead has gotten back to the favor of lead by example, so they have brought that back up for themselves. Also, top heavy getting a double kill here. He got the reset for his gold, and now he's dead. So now they just got a lot more gold from him. He's just been playing really overextended a lot this game. They has to be careful, especially with Paranoia. No, they might turn this into a Baron, which I had not even noticed. It's been 32 minutes into this game. This game has felt much shorter for whatever reason. But they are starting up on this Baron, and this could be... I'm not even sure what way this team fight will go. Throwing boys at the wall. Let's see if they can go in for the steal. They will not be able to. Nocturne's able to get that. However, Doors in the middle of everybody able to pick up Yaya Puff. There goes the ultimate from Morgana, able to stun off quite a few people. Sinru was able to pick up Thor. Tech is trying to get out of here because Tony went down. Now Rebuff is chasing after Tech. Tech is surely going to be going down here as they keep on chasing onto him, and he goes down. The Amazing 9 now trying to fly out of here on Nibia, and that wall is absolutely massive and stops him from getting there. But that is the Baron. They're able to pick up 3 kills on it too.
Yeah, I feel like Herf Jones, however, in that fight didn't really do too much. He seemed like he spent quite a bit of time just kind of wandering back and forth, not really hitting anything. So I feel like Frontlines played that very well, but Frontlines could have played that better and possibly gotten even more than just that one turret and Baron that they got off of it.
Yeah, so we do see Mikhail's Crucible on that Nivea. For the rest of the rounds, looks like Void Staff's coming off from Kale and Morgana potentially. Do see Chimera, of course, building the 80 carry build. Tankiness coming out of this Yorick. And it's just, man, it's Fam Nancy now finished on this Misfortune. Has the last Whisper too, now building into an Infinity Edge. And it's just like the team fight that comes off of team that's been coming off of Frontline is just much stronger than what's been coming off of LBX. And I feel like Frontlines are playing this game better. Like obviously they have like a more standing role. Like they're able to pick up Baron. Like they're kind of knowing when to take these objectives. Like I feel like going for when LBX went for that mid inhibitor, like they kind of like overextended and they weren't able to get back on time. And then Frontlines took the advantage and went for Baron.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The way LBX has been excuse me, the way LBX has been playing this game is completely different from the way LBX has played every game up to this point. So it's kind of hard to determine exactly what they're trying to do. On one hand,
Team Rage is okay. I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah, on the one hand, they are kind of losing control over the map. We aren't seeing that same ward coverage you've seen from them. On the other hand, they aren't really falling too far behind. They're even in towers. I mean, obviously, Frontlines picked up that Baron, which is kind of throwing a bit of a wrench in their plans at the moment. But they're really only behind by 1,000 gold, which isn't that much at this point. So, really, I mean, it kind of looks at times like Frontline's is a lot stronger, but they're just really not at this point.
Yeah, and this Paranoia going off out on top heavy. Once again, they just like diving right on top of him. Although the intervention is coming on him, Cinder is going to be caught up there and will be taken out because that rebuff getting in, but no one really pays too much attention to him. He's cinched. But that was a nice catch job. They got the intervention down. This is they're actually going up onto a reroute. They're doing quite a bit of damage to him as they chase after him. 4 members of LBX taking him down. Looks like a reroute will be going down. Tony picking up that kill. And Bulletin came out but wasn't quite able to pick up Thor because Thor had his ultimate going and he's going to be able to live with barely any health. So 2 pickups coming off for LBX. That was very well done by them. They also have quite a few of their lanes pushing mid. Of course, it's pushing top, is sort of pushing. Looks like Trinity is heading down to bottom lane. But York is now able to pick up more Mike's armor. Going to be even harder to kill that way. And that's kind of the baiting strategy that's coming out of these guys. I mean, they're able to get so much defensive stuff. Like Morgana puts black shields on the people and it just stops like CC from happening to them. And then, you know, there's KO interventions and things like that. So I guess that's where it's coming to. Like they're really baiting, like especially people like Fizz who want to dive in or Nocturne. You can just like kind of bait them out because they really want to like they close the gap and they dive into you, and then you can just turn around and destroy them.
Yeah, that's been the danger at this point for front lines is they've been diving so hard onto Yorick that the sort of tipping point for this game was kind of going to be around the point where Yorick starts living through it. And he did that time, and LBX turned it around for 2 kills, and they might catch Herf Jones out here.
Oh jeez, Thor just wrecking it. Sitting slash picking up that kill. And yeah, the thing is, like, even if you kill York, he's gonna be coming back. Like, he'll still be, like, obviously he'll get the kill, and then he'll only live for like 20, 30, I'm not even sure how long his ultimate is, but for an extended period of time after that, but so, like, he's still. And, oh, it's only 10 seconds. Okay, well, I was completely wrong. However, they are pushing on to Yayapuff, caught in this, in that body, getting completely obliterated. Yayapuff just getting, is just so squishy right now, and hasn't really been able to get too much going on. Now they're actually pushing down to this bot side, and the damage on the throwaway is huge coming off from Siru, though. And now with the flash and tech going for Yellow Beast, they might want to turn around for Siru, though, and there is the intervention. They're able to pick up the tower. Siru almost going down, sending for Yellow Beast, sending for tech, though. And it looks like they'll just come on and keep on pushing. Meanwhile, up top lane, Reruff is trying to push it down, but there's no way they're going to be as fast as the pushes from Trinamir and Gale and the rest of the LBX team. Here comes Reruff with those home guard boots, going to get immediately slowed down there, putting Thor over the shoulder. Cinder goes in and picks up the kill onto Thor really quickly. Paranoia is popped here. The egg is down, and it's going to be going down very soon. Cinder did go down to Tony. This is an incredibly messy team fight. The Amazing 9 did fall after that egg, and looks like Tony B will just be able to walk out of there, but once again we see Reruff going with that teleport right back up the top lane to push it.
Yeah, and he might actually be able to pick something up off of this, but I didn't notice something in that fight when you noted that Yayapup is very squishy right now. One thing that we haven't seen making any difference in this fight, because we haven't seen it yet, we have not seen the Crow Storm coming off of that Fiddlesticks yet.
Yeah.
Not even once. So, I mean, if they manage to get that down in combination with a bullet time, I don't think there's any amount of intervention, any amount of Undying Rage, any amount of anything that's going to really stop that combo from just absolutely shredding through Lead by Example's team.
Yeah, the thing is, like, how it's been going on, like, how these team fights have been going, it's like Yellow Beast and Sindhu, like, are usually the ones that are just, like, diving in. And they do a lot of damage, but there's no one there, like, to back them up. Like, you have to get into a nice position where Yayapuff can, you know, coast over a wall or inside a brush to where she can actually get it off and, like, actually surprise them and go ka, then you can get, you know, the bullet time coming off after that. But they just haven't been fighting in places where they could do that, and the way they've been initiating hasn't really been setting themselves up to be able to do that. And then, I think you said this in Champions like that, and Nivea Wall just can stop it.
Yeah, at this point, Thor has just spun over a wall to start Baron. I completely lost my train of thought off of that.
They are melting it. They're absolutely melting it. Wriggle's Lantern, and then there's the Spirit of the Lizard, and there's actually the ultimate going off onto the Amazing 9. Reruff is in the middle of the team. Nice ball coming off. Sinru has yet to dive in. Nice bullet time coming off, and the Crow Storm coming down too. Putting off lots of damage. Gonna be able to pick off tech there. Thor going in there. There's the Zani Zaglas coming off and Tony chasing after Sinru. Sinru will be able to live. He will not be able to. Thor does have the Yorgos onto him, chasing after Yellow Beast. Now, Reruff went down to Tony. Looks like Herf Jones gonna be able to live throughout it. And actually, Trinamir, before he went down with that ghost, was able to finish off Yellow Beast there. So, for one thing, that Trinity just survived the whole fight, even though they put everything onto him. He survived through that. He got the Endless Rage, and then Yorick Ultimate. And then that ended up being actually a beneficial fight for LBX.
Yeah, and that Crowstorm did come out for the first time, at least I noticed. But it wasn't really that effective because it just sort of turned around and killed the Fiddlesticks because she's so squishy at this point. So there's not really too much that Fiddlesticks can do to influence a fight aside from just drop a fear on something. And that's a very bad position for Frontline to be in, because that means that Frontline are essentially fighting a 4v5 every time they fight something like that. And then you have Yorick go, so you're fighting a 4v6. And then Tryndamere ults himself, so you're fighting a 4v6 for a longer period of time. And then you have a Nivea egg, and she comes back up again. You're still fighting 4v6. So
yeah, and this is what they were going for. And here comes the Nocturne Paranoia out. Looks like Top Heavy is definitely going to be going down. Does have that ultimate up. Looks like chasing after Reroff. Meanwhile, Tony B trying to run away from Yellow Beast. There's no way he's going to be able to get out of this one. I mean, come on, there's no way. If your head is going down to him, he's going to be throwing off the stand. Maybe there is a way, because Thor is going to be coming in to help him out. Sinner getting up here. And then the shutdown coming off from Yellow Beast. There's the ultimate going up onto Thor from Cinder. There's intervention a little bit late. And Yellow Beast is going to get caught by the stun, but no follow-up. Now Amazing Knight is a little bit too far ahead. Puts out the wall, though. And that's going to be the disengage, and they back off.
yeah, I've noticed something also in these fights. They seem to have been doing a fairly poor job of stacking their invulnerability on Tryndamere. He's been using his Undying Rage and Kale Ultimate at the same time. They could probably extend that period at which he's almost dead, but not quite significantly, if they were to get sort of a bit more intent with that, and instead of just stacking them on top of each other, sort of spreading them out over the period of time. I know the just entire immunity from Kale Ult is very powerful, but the ability to live that much longer is more powerful, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, they do have 2 inhibitors down. They're taking those 2 out. There's just top lane left. And once again, 7 towers before they are ahead in those objectives. Have taken and secured a few Barons. And this is like probably like the second time where they're losing in kills, but they're winning in gold and objectives. And it's not very slightly in gold, of course. But like, it's just they're putting it all like around Thor. Like if Thor like loses and it like dies early in a team fight, which I obviously is gonna be extremely rare, but in the rare occasion that he dies in a team fight, I feel like the team of LBX would just collapse because of that.
Yeah, definitely, and it's very, very difficult at this point to predict how any given fight's going to go. Like, I know some games that we've had today, we've been able to say, yeah, if they have a straight up team fight, this team's gonna win. But so much of it depends on how Lead by Example executes a fight that it's really not predictable at this point. And I think a lot of what we're gonna see it come down to is if Anivia starts building some actual AP items. I think that could be very scary, but right now she just has those supporty items. She has the Mana Manipulator, Kindle Gem, Mikhail's Crucible. Reruff getting a little bit caught out here now.
Yeah, he's not really gone to that tanky syndrome. Like, he just gets taken down by Thor. Meanwhile, though, the Amazing Knight gonna get egged as the 3 people chasing after him. Reruff Jones picks up that kill. And so they're going to be able to get that pick up there. Just Nivea has probably one of the scariest. I mean, both of these supports have been, especially Yayaba, just getting taken out so quickly. She's really not being able to get to that Zanya's. She probably won't be able to get to there anytime soon, really, though. I mean, she's been sitting just waiting for Zanya's for a while, and she's starting to build for the more support. I'm just like Yellow Beast going to be putting out the snare. They're chasing after Thor here, chasing after him, but it looks like Thor going to be going. The flashing get in. Cinder does pick up that kill. The Undying Rage, I think, was used a little bit too early coming off the Thor. So, 2 nice pickups coming off. But we do see Top Heavy just kind of pushing in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's just what he's been doing all game. He's been sort of going where he pleases.
I know, Renova coming out from tech in the mid lane, but there's no way she's going to be able to lift from that. No, maybe she will be able to lift from that because the double up did not finish her up. Nerf Jones is in trouble. Top Heavy and Tony trying to get onto her, but looks like Top Heavy is going to be cheating on Top Heavy. He's going to be going down in this fight. Going to be popping ultimate on himself. Bullet time comes across. Sinru going to get caught inside the stun from Morgana. Gets taken out. Paranoia did come across. That's double kill coming off for Herb Jones, and they just let that And they just let top heavy finish off Yellow Beast there. So 2 for 3.
I have no clue what just happened at this point. I don't even. It's these fights are so bizarre. I'm not used to seeing anything like this, and it's almost getting really difficult for me to just figure out what went on. Like, I saw the hourglass prevented Fizzult from picking up anything on Morgana, but they just sort of killed her anyways. I mean, at that point in time, I guess what keeps happening is Lead by Example is not together. They're, I don't know, they're so far apart from each other, so scattered across the map, they're not able to actually do anything in a straight up fight at this point. So we are seeing Kale and Anivia standing next to the Baron pit. I'm not certain if Baron's up shortly. I need to see if I can find the timer in chat really quick. It should actually be up in the next 20 seconds, so it looks like they're going to go for that now. But as I say that, Thor appears to be going back.
The thing is, they can really melt on that Baron. I mean, they have 2 of like the jungler items. Spirit of the Elder Lizard. No, actually never mind. No Wiggles Lantern now on Thor anymore. He decided to sell that. Now he has a Phage to go for even more damage and a little bit of tankiness and stickiness. But they do go ahead and start on the Spirit. I'm like, look how fast that melts. That just gets destroyed by them. And now Thor is there, and it's gonna get destroyed even more. So they can really rip apart this Baron, and it's Frontline's just not expecting that, and they're not realizing this, and even though this is the second time that this has happened. And we do see they're going to be pushing up, of course, now with this Baron, but it's going to be really confusing. I mean, like, this whole game is absolutely confusing.
This has been 47 minutes, 48 minutes of just the most confusing game I've ever watched, as we appear to be going to the weird.
Yep, Yifab going to be going in with the Crow Storm. Simbu is able to take on Thor so early. Top heavy is going to be going down. There's a bullet time coming across. The Amazing 9 and Tech are so low. Tony B is for sure going down. Sinru will not be able to live because it's taken down by the Amazing 9, but the Amazing 9 will for sure not going to be get out of there. And what happened in that fight? Thor died so early. He was the first one dead. They put out their heart and souls into killing Thor, and they just absolutely obliterated him. He wasn't even able to get anything out onto him. Like, no, his Undying Rage didn't go up. There wasn't a Yoracle onto him. There wasn't an intervention onto him. He just, oh man, just no one, like, they just put everything out on his trend, and no one could save him in time.
Yeah, I feel like Lead by Example got caught really off guard by that as well. Sin sort of came in from behind them, and then there was a Fiddlesticks ult, and it was just sort of this very sudden way of it happening. I didn't even really see it coming myself. I see the Sins coming in, I'm like, this is going to be an interesting couple of moments, and then all of a sudden the Fiddlesticks ult comes in, this comes in, that comes in, and they just blew up Thor so quickly that Lead by Example wasn't able to react because they weren't prepared for that. Had they sort of seen it coming, they might have been able to say, okay, we're just going to watch for this moment, drop the invulnerability on it, but we didn't see that this time around, so...
So, this game has hit the 50-minute point. Can you recall there's been any game that's gone this long?
Yes, I casted them both.
Oh yeah, there was that one match that went really long, wasn't there?
It was a 2-0 that lasted 3 hours. We had one game that I believe hit the 57.5-minute mark, and they were some of the best games ever cast, and I really recommend looking them up. It was 2-1 Gaming versus Team Durgan. That would be over on the LRSS 1 stream if you are looking for the VODs at any point in time. Definitely worth looking up, but at this point, I've never seen a game that's gone on this long where nothing of note has really happened. I mean, we've seen Baron taken a few times, we've seen Towers taken a few times, but none of it really seems to have mattered. It's just sort of like this game is existing more so than it's actually being played.
Yeah, it's just like a back and forth and a back and forth. You know, maybe one time they'll win this team fight, this time they'll win this team fight. And we do see like the Guardian's Angel coming out here. I'm surprised they aren't going for more of those, but like they're going for really standard builds and just relying on the skills to have those stay alive in the team fights. So they are actually trying to go ahead and try to engage on this one. Looks like Yellow Beast is going to be caught up by the standard. Phase Ultimate will be coming across now. Looks like we have tried to get into a close from not going to be used to any effect at all. They're able to run away from that one Thor. Going to be taking it up, but he does have the ultimates onto him now. There's the ultimate coming off, and the Bolts are going to be coming across. Yellow Beast went down. Tony B was able to take out Yaya Pup, and also got into his on his Hourglass. Sinu took out Thor, but it doesn't matter because Sinu also went down himself. Double kill coming out for Tech. There's a snare going up onto Rerev. Rerev for sure going to be going down there. Egg pops onto the Amazing 9, and Tech able to finish that one off, getting a total of 3 kills, I think, from that whole fight. But that is the ace. 5 for 2. And that time, they actually used those abilities to the full extent that they could. The Crow Storm wasn't able to hit at all, and they just had all their abilities pretty much used right there. Like, Designer's Hourglass went off. The intervention, I'm not even sure if I think the intervention went off. Orientation wasn't even popped on Tech, and people focus so much on Tryndamere, they completely forgot that Tech is now big. Like, he was big. I mean, he's Kale. Just rip people to shreds, and this is looking like game.
I believe it will be game. We did see the GG's coming out. It's 20 seconds till anyone is up, and Lead by Example takes a 50-minute long, confusing but very interesting and very unique game number 3 of this best of 5. So I believe this means we go to another best of 5, at least 3 more games of action between these two. I hope you guys are just as excited as we are for that. I'm looking forward to it. If we have more in store like this, it will definitely be an unforgettable experience for y'all, but I believe we're going to be taking a bit of a break. I'm not certain if we're going to be taking a bit of a longer break to give these teams a chance to sort of cool down from this longer game, but we will be back shortly with more action.